It says we are live, fellas. So I think we are. And we're getting a live feed of Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system. And what a lovely shot it is. We haven't done one of these in a while, yet here we are with coffee and astronomy and a panel of awesome dudes from all over Texas, actually. It's an all Texas panel tonight, which is pretty cool. So we're going to intro them. We're going to look at Jupiter and Saturn and do all that sort of stuff. And then we're going to hang out with y'all because we see y'all in the chat room. We see Celsa down there. She's, I'm a top fan. What's up, Celsa? Good to see you. She just came back from the McDonald Observatory, I believe. Or not, I'm sorry, the Prude Ranch. She went out there for a little while, did some observing, which was pretty awesome. Steve says, here we go. Yeah, and then Bob says, Scotch and astronomy. Hey, whatever beverage of choice. I have my coffee here. I know Stephen, Mr. Hummel here has his coffee.
Can't live without it.
I don't know about Joe and which is ironic, and Bram here, but let's talk to Joe for a second since he's
going on
here.
well.
There he is. It's going great, man. How are you been?
Doing good. Had a burrito earlier. I don't know if that counts as a beverage of choice.
Is that a hurricane burrito?
The burrito, yes, the jarrito.
Yeah. Okay. Nice, dude. So you got the Astro Joe going now. Tell us about that, man, and intro what you're doing now.
Yeah, so as you know, well, most of your followers probably don't. I'm president of the Houston Astronomical Society. I'm also a solar system ambassador, and so it's part of that, trying to do some of the branding social media things. So rebranded a few things as the Astro Joe, and waiting for some cloudless skies so I can go out and observe.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you, Joe. I love the name, the Astro Joe. It's
Thank
awesome.
you.
And yeah, man, like we were talking earlier, I look forward to observing with my friends, because it's been so long since we've all been out and gotten some photon time together. So that's coming up as a necessity for sure. And we thought we would throw Mr. Bram Wiseman in the mix tonight. Mr. Bram Wiseman and I met, I think, in 2015, and many moons ago, and we became instant friends, and Bram is one of the best visual astronomers that I know. He has a 20-inch Stargate telescope, which is a awesome Dobsonian. And yeah, Bram, tell us a little bit about you and your astronomy stuff real quick, because the people that have never met you, just give us that intro that is Bram.
Well, I'm really excited to be here tonight. It was 2003, the Mars opposition, that got me into this hobby, and sure would love to have a good view of Mars tonight. I don't know if that's on our agenda, but that would be fantastic. And I do love visual astronomy. Love seeing all those eye candy objects, the galaxies and nebula, open clusters, globular clusters. It's good times.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Bram is always the guy that is at his telescope when the star party is going down, and you can just hear him quietly just working away over there in the dark. We're all over here chit-chatting, and Bram's just over there doing who knows what with that thing. But he's always looking at something cool, and he'll call you over. Hey, come check this out. I'm like, what? Oh, cool. Yeah. But it's good times, as always, Bram. Thanks for being here, man. This is cool to get you on one of these for sure. And then Mr. Hummel, there he is. Oh, are you muted?
Yes, I was.
Yes, you are muted.
Yeah, hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. We've got okay skies tonight out here in far west Texas at McDonald Observatory. We've got a few clouds here and there, but they should clear up. It was a lot worse an hour ago. But right now we just got one cloud that's sitting right next to Jupiter, and it's kind of conveniently not actually touching Jupiter. But you may notice it kind of going a little dimmer or a little brighter, and that's probably why. But yeah, we have decent seeing as well. I mean, the steadiness of the atmosphere. So we got as you can see, an extremely high magnification view of Jupiter. This is, if you're a telescope nerd, it's about a 10.5 meter focal length I'm operating at right now. So
wow.
Very zoomed in. This is as wide as my current camera as I can go. So we're going to take a look at this, and we're going to take a look at that ringed planet you probably heard about. And they're going to switch cameras, and we're going to look at some other stuff too.
Yeah, which is awesome, man. And I mean, I think we sometimes we kind of gloss over things, but just look at how amazing this image is. This is a direct live image of the largest planet in our solar system, and the detail that you can get. Oh, and there goes the cloud.
Going
the cloud
away.
filter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it kind of gives you a little bit of a contrast there to kind of show you what a cloud really does. Now you can see the kind of the moisture behind the cloud sort of distorting the view. And that's what, people always ask me, like, why does the moon wiggle in your live streams? And I explain that it's seeing to them, and how that it's sort of like seeing a coin at the bottom of a wishing well or something, and if the water is still, the coin is preserved. You can see what denomination it is or how much it's worth or what year it was made. But if the water is disturbed, kind of like right now, you're only getting bits and pieces of the coin in there. And so that the sky above us does the exact same sort of thing. There's moisture up there. There's air molecules, nitrogen, and all kinds of nonsense. And there it goes.
Yeah, let's go to Saturn instead. We'll come back to Jupiter, but that was Io next to it, by the way.
Dang, you got to Saturn that fast, man. That is,
yeah.
I'm glad I didn't switch cameras or anything there, because we got that we got that broadcasted there. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's a little bit centered and should be good to go. Yeah,
Wow.
It's pretty cool when it works like that. This is a brand new mount, very new. It's a Planewave L500, and it's working great so far. We just installed it last week and a half ago. So yeah, very new. And got a nice image of Saturn there and those beautiful rings. Let's increase the exposure, see if we can see some of its moons popping out.
Go.
Maybe if it'll let me. Yep. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
So those are very faint moons there, and I think there's even another one right there.
Yeah, that may be
enchiladas
or Rhea, or could be enchiladas.
I mean, we're really zoomed in, so it's probably. We're not seeing any of the bigger moons because we're such a small field of view.
Yeah. Our friend Travis, who actually works for SpaceX, says, cool view. Would be a shame if a Starlink were to pass by. #blame Travis. Because Travis is literally directly responsible for every Starlink in orbit. So there he is, guys. If you need to send hate mail or care package, if you really enjoy... Of course, it's a joke, but Travis does actually work for SpaceX, and so we poke him a lot. It's fun. Good to see you, Travis. Ella, working on the Martini Nebula. Yeah, because that's around here in Southeast Texas. That's part of the program there. Lori Sell in the house, nice, amazing.
Stephen,
So, go ahead, Bram. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just surprised why we can't see the moons. I can certainly see them in my 20. Is it because of clouds?
It's because of the dynamic range of the camera. Like I can expose for the moons, but then we'd lose Saturn itself. This is also the camera is actually the cheapest part of this setup right now.
No doubt.
This is you can see all the hot pixels there. So you can see the moons are definitely there if I blow out Saturn. But this is about a $90 camera. It's basically a webcam. So the dynamic range isn't great. It's a ZWO ASI 120 MCS,
which is the color version of the lowest grade. So yeah, it's I think I have the monochrome version of that exact camera, and I love it.
Yeah, it's not bad for a little thing,
Yeah, no, not at all.
I think clouds for sure.
I think I actually sent Bram that exact camera at one point because he might have been looking for that kind of stuff. So
true.
ZWO, it's just not a paid advertisement, obviously. But if they want to get with one of us, let us know. I mean, especially Stephen out here.
They want to spend to me, right?
Stephen's like, send me that $4,000 ZWO camera, and I'll put it in something out here.
Yeah. I only have 5 ZWO cameras. Like,
you already basically own half the company right there. So,
yeah.
You can be sitting CEO and not too long, but Yeah, it's nice to see you too, Travis. And good if you guys have any questions or anything, I'm gonna be throwing comments up here as we go along tonight. We're just gonna have a fun evening of some coffee and some astronomy, you know. So and astronomy awesomely provided by Mr. Stephen Hummel, the one and only. We should put him. We're just going to put him on top up here because see now I can move people around. Look at that. I can put myself at the bottom now, which is where I belong. There we go. But yeah, so and we'd love to hear where you guys are watching from. That's awesome. Sean Gibson's up in Ohio. I know we got all over the country here with us tonight. And like I said, Stephen is broadcasting this live image of Saturn from the McDonald Observatory out there on the mountain in West Texas, which is just such a glorious place to be. Not maybe during the daytime right now because they're having a pretty nice heat wave out there. But how hot has it been out there?
If there was a heat wave, I wasn't aware of it.
Oh, you didn't get the memo? I got the alert down here. No, I wonder if it's for Fort Davis and like Alpine, and you guys maybe be
yeah,
so high.
I think the high today was 76.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yesterday it was nice, 70 something. Yeah, no, it's been pretty mild here. It's been dry, but it's actually felt like fall. We had a bunch of people because we are open again for star parties with reservations required. But we had a bunch of people the other night leave early because they were too cold.
Oh, now that's
Yeah.
what I love is West Texas when it's nice and chilly.
Yeah. I'm
The
gonna go
skies
back
look
to
really good.
Jupiter here. So
All right.
it's clear again over there.
Jackie says, "Can I see anything cool with some binoculars from Vidor, Texas tonight?" For sure. I mean, the moon will be up a little later, and the moon is always kind of fun to look at with binoculars. You can, if you have something to steady the binoculars on, that's always beneficial. That's the problem I've always had with binoculars, and I know that maybe Joe and Bram can weigh in, but you got to find something to stabilize the binoculars on, and basically you can pan around forever. What I also used to do is lay on my back and lay the binoculars onto my eyes and just sort of move them around like that. Use that as a stable sort of thing, which you can only look really straight up. But if you've ever tried to put binoculars on a tripod, you'll understand why it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I've used, if I have my vehicle nearby, I'll just prop my elbows up on the vehicle and use that to kind of look up and down. Or if I've, say I'm next to my house, I'll just put my back up against the wall and then just try to steady myself that way. It helps a little bit. Every little bit counts. So whatever you can find to help stabilize yourself, use it.
Small child.
Small child.
A donkey. Some sort of elk.
But when it comes to mounts, I will say the parallelogram mounts are my favorite. So once I got it,
absolutely.
Yeah, once I got a
Those are
taste of those, I can't go back to anything else.
Image stabilized binoculars are good.
Yeah, no, that Bram brings up a really interesting point there. Image stabilized. I mean, they're very, very expensive, but you hit a button and it looks like you've stabilized the image completely. Pretty amazing. A guy in our club had some at one point, and he's like, yeah, just hold them like normal binoculars, get where you're looking, and then hit the button. And then it's like you could hear something happen inside, and then it was just like this sort of floated. It's incredible, but incredibly expensive too. But
very expensive. Yep.
They're an option.
So we've got a nice clear sky. That little cloud just kind of moved off. Now it's over here. It was over Jupiter. This is a live image of the sky.
Look at that.
So if we may look at Mars earlier, you mentioned Mars. It's going to come up kind of late, and we'll maybe look at that. But if you guys got any requests of things to look at tonight, as long as they're up in the sky for us to see at the moment, we can try looking at it with this telescope. So let us know what you're interested in. I recommend Planetary Nebulae.
Yes.
Really good scope for those kinds of things. Other small objects, but I'm willing to look at other things too.
Man, we tear up the Planetary Nebula when we do these live streams, and that's what's so cool, man. Because Planetary, and we talk about this just every time, but that's like my favorite object. And so, just that word, when someone else, another human being, says the words Planetary Nebula, I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
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 Speaking of which, the Ring Nebula should be nice and high right now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is too high. It's exactly
Is
straight
it?
up. And
They'll
if
break
you
the
aim
camera
this
off.
thing exactly straight up, it gets funky. So I'll wait a
Okay.
little minute,
We'll wait a little bit for that then.
just because this is an Altaz telescope, so it has to rotate around and
Right.
stuff.
Yes.
Let's take one more look at Saturn, because actually I think the seeing is steadily improving. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I'm noticing more detail in this image now.
Absolutely. There's a lot less wiggle too.
Yeah. So let's look back at Saturn here.
It's an amazing image of Jupiter. And by the way, that little moon Io in the upper right is going to cross Jupiter tonight. It's going to transit across the front of Jupiter from our perspective. And then later, the shadow of Io will start to make a black hole on the moon, and it'll sort of move across.
Of Jupiter. Yeah, I mean, it'll make a shadow.
It's a black hole. It's just a dark. It's like if you were there on Jupiter, there'd be a total solar eclipse. Am I not mistaken with that? You'd see a total eclipse of the sun, and it would be awesome, and then it would go away, right? So, but that's later. I don't know if we'll get around to that because Io's doing its own thing, and we don't get to tell it what to do. Also, the Great Red Spot comes up tonight for all you Jupiter aficionados. If you want to get out later with your scope, the Great Red Spot will be coming up. In like 2 or 3 hours, I think, Stephen, or something like that.
Yeah, it's a fair bit of time. We may hit Jupiter up again at the end of the program. Maybe if we get Mars too, if we get back Mars, it's got to get up to about 26, 25 degrees elevation from here, and it's not even up yet. So,
Yeah,
this may be a long stream. I don't know. I'm down for it though.
yeah, we got coffee.
Yeah, that's what we got coffee for.
Coffee and good
Jarritos.
company.
Yeah,
There you go.
And Jarritos, yeah.
yeah.
Let's see how fast we can get on Saturn here. Boom.
There it
Look at
is.
that.
Boom. Yeah, look at that. Don't even have to really center it.
It's scary good.
That's amazing. At that magnification, to have it spot on like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
Our friend Tim Pellerin in the house. What's up, Tim?
Tim, how's it
Hello.
going?
Yeah, so you can actually start to make out. I don't know if it's coming up through to you guys, but we've got the bands of Saturn, but
Mhm.
we may start to notice this band, and it's got a little bit of a shape definition. It's not just a line,
Mm.
It's apparent more on my screen. I also want to point out this tiny little sliver, tiny sliver of Saturn poking through on the other side of the ring.
Because we are heading towards a flat ring system over the next few years, aren't we? Interesting. So now we can see the bottom of the planet again.
Yeah, just barely. It's
Wow. Good eye, Stephen. Excellent, man. Wow. So yeah, because of Saturn, Saturn's tilted just like every other planet in our solar system, some more than others, right? But, from our perspective, like 2008, 2009, the rings of Saturn were basically edge on. So you had a ball planet with a line going through it, like somebody just drew a line through it. And if you looked at Saturn as a casual observer in those days, in 09, 08, or 07, or maybe 2010, I'm giving you a lot of years there, but it takes a while, right, for the seasons to change on Saturn.
Yeah.
And we're heading back towards, because it's in the northern hemisphere. Assume north is what we're looking at here, right, Stephen? North is.
I think so.
Way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
So that's northern summer, right? So the northern hemisphere of Saturn is experiencing summer, but we're heading towards the back end of summer, and we're going to be, as the rings get flatter, that'll be like its equinox, I guess, and then the fall, winter, as the southern hemisphere sort of rotates around to us. And I think 2041 is when we'll see the northern hemisphere of Saturn again, and we'll see Saturn in this orientation here. So get a good look, y'all.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a few decades.
2024 is when we get the next ring plane crossing, when we're looking edge on. Yeah. And the ring will almost appear to disappear entirely, because those rings, for the whole extent, are about 214,000 miles across, which is comparable between the distance between the Earth and our moon. That's how wide they are in diameter. But they're only a few hundred feet thick. In some places, just a few feet thick. So they're really razor thin, and if you view them edge on, they almost appear to disappear completely at the vast distance between us and Saturn. So,
yeah. get a good look, y'all, while you can.
Yeah. Speaking of Saturn and planetaries, there's another object not too far off.
Ooh,
You
yes.
could probably know where I'm going to, Will.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. All right.
Maybe Bram or Joe, Astro Joe could figure it out.
Going to Pluto?
Not Pluto. It's a nebula. If I can increase the
That's a
exposure
good
to
guess
that.
though, Bram, because it is right there. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a sandwich.
All right, I'll go to Pluto next. Yeah, I'll go to Pluto next.
You think we'll actually be able to see it, Steven?
Maybe as a dot, I
Yeah,
guess.
as
Have
a
to figure
stellar
out
point. Yeah.
which dot it is. No, this is going to be a fainter object. Ooh, this is not the greatest camera for it. What's down there? Maybe I should change
Ooh.
cameras.
What is that?
It is the Saturn Nebula.
And it's right near Saturn too, because it's in what, Capricornus?
Yeah. It's a little low. I'm going to switch cameras now.
Nice.
I'm going to go to the actual deep sky one.
Okay.
And then I'll let you get to some questions and take some requests and stuff.
Yeah,
while
so
I do that.
we do have some questions and stuff because our buddy Travis, the guy who is responsible for Starlink ruining pictures of comets and everything, says, so I'm getting more interested in what y'all do, but I could have sworn I read somewhere Jupiter lost a moon. I'm not aware of this, but maybe there's an article that came out recently about this. I don't know. You guys heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything myself, no. But I'm sure in the course of history and time and everything else with Jupiter being as large and as massive as it is, it's gained and lost several moons.
Yeah.
But nothing that I've heard of recently.
No telling what it's flung out of the solar system
Right.
over the eons. Now we got some more comments coming in. Hey Nora, how you doing? Sean says, got a quick question. What telescope will be good to see all the planets for a beginner? That's a loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to know when recommending a telescope. It's kind of like, what guitar should I buy?
Yeah.
Well, like, which one do you think fits your look? Because some people are definitely LTD and some are PRS. So I've gone way too far down that road. Basically, your level of how to use a telescope is kind of the only indicator we have to describe or to recommend stuff. But I always recommend a good Dobsonian. I mean, 8 to 10 inch. I feel like you really can't go wrong there. I know most of us in here are Dobsonian users. Stephen uses more Cats and Casses than anyone that I've ever met, but
I use Dobbs too. I still like a good Dob.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves a good Dob. It's like the I don't know, the catch-all in astronomy. I don't know, but there are some other great options for planets. Let me specifically say, Sean mentions planets. I don't know, like a Schmidt Cassegrain are really good for planets, but they have a really long focal length. So you're very, very zoomed in, just kind of like we were with Stephen's image. So, can you find the object and keep it in the telescope? Well, that depends on your level of expertise with mounts, So then you start talking about the mount. So it's really a loaded-ended question or an open-ended question. It's really your preference. And I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. I'll go through some of these other stuff here.
Yeah, my first telescope was a Meade ETX 125, a Maxitov Cassegrain, and it was an F15, and it was fantastic for planetary views. However, it was horrible at everything else. Shouldn't say that, right? But it was fantastic for planets, and then because the focal length was so long, right, it being F15, that means your field of view is very, very narrow. So trying to get images of deep sky objects just didn't really pan out. So trying to find a good all-purpose telescope that will do just about everything is tough. But like you said, Will, a good Dob will do most everything that you want it to. Yeah.
Especially because I like everything. I know everybody says, what do you want to see? Well, everything. Of course, we all want to see everything. Yeah. And I think Dobbs pretty much do that,
Yeah.
A good refractor is great for planets and the moon. It'll cut right through the atmosphere. It's super crisp image. But then when you start hunting nebula and galaxies down, you're like, is this really it? This faint nothing? And, so what about NGC 999, Stephen? Is that, I don't know.
That's a really
Put
faint
it on your
one.
list.
I mean, I imaged that the other night, but I mean, it's very, very, very faint. I'm not sure if we'll pick it up, but I can try, I guess.
Okay. Since that was the first, request, and Celsa's one of our
Sure.
top fans now, so congratulations, Celsa. I think she had a good time at the Prude Ranch too. I was in, I think, Yellowstone while she was basically out there. And from what I understand, she had a great time out there all alone, basically, with maybe some rattlesnakes. There may have been rattlesnakes involved.
Coyotes, not coyotes, coyotes.
She messaged me and she's like, "Are there rattlesnakes out here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they are." But it was like at 2 a.m. when she messaged me, and so I was like, "There's definitely not at night." And she's like, "Actually, I looked it up, and they're more active at night." And I was like, "Oh no, I told her the wrong thing." Darren says, "Oh, sorry, Bram. We'll get to it. Sub Deep still bringing dope scenes. Thanks, brother. Thank you, Darren. I appreciate you, man. Which question you got here?
I want to
Bram?
address Stephen Showalter. He wants to know about Neowise. Yes, Neowise is still a viable object. I got magnitude 9.3 according to Sky Tools, and that's definitely doable in a dark site with a telescope. It will not be naked eye, and even in the scope, you're not going to see a tail.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
basically done, I think.
Yeah, it's not going to look dramatic, but I could point at it
Oh.
if there's interest. Oh, I need to start making a list.
I know, because we're getting lots of objects here, but that's great. That's what we want. So if you've ever thought about looking at it, don't say Nibiru or Planet X.
Planet X, yeah.
Or the Anunnaki.
Right.
Or Bigfoot. No, I'm just kidding. We like to play here at Deep Sky Dude, McDonald Observatory, Houston Astronomical Society. So. Asset. Yeah, there's so much involved here. We're literally broadcasting to like 15 different places. It's hilarious. There's our friend Tara. Hey boys, miss observing with y'all. We miss observing with you too. You are technically, that's exactly right. And that's what's so powerful about these broadcasts and what Stephen does for us, and kind of helps us get a window on this stuff. So we appreciate you, Stephen, and thank you, Tara, for joining us. Awesome. Stephen says, "Did I miss Jupiter? Just a little bit, but we probably will go back, maybe in a little while."
Yeah, probably.
You could always rewind it, Stephen. You won't be live with us for a minute, but you can go back and watch it for a few seconds, and it's pretty close to what it was before. Joe says, "I'm sure it will be back." I'm not sure. That was probably a long time ago, Joe. So sorry, I don't exactly remember what you were referring to. Shailene, hello. Tara says she likes Dobbs. Tara has a nice Dobb too. Is it Stella? Yeah. Some people name their Dobbs. I don't, but some people do, and I think it's a great thing. Everybody knows Elvira, right? One of the coolest Dobsonians in the world. Not to demean Bram, your Dobsonian, which does it have a name? Does the Stargate have a name? No. You never thought about naming it, or it just never kind of came up in conversations with the scope or anything?
I'll give it some thought.
Oh, so okay, so all right, yeah. Well, what y'all should do is vote for what you think Bram's scope should be named. That's what we're gonna do right now.
That's it, a naming contest. You got to stick with it, Bram.
All right, I'm gonna turn my screen off so you don't get that glow.
Okay.
But
that light pollution from your screen
Nebula.
is
it's pretty significant.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the Saturn Nebula. You can see it's why they call it that. They have this sort of almost looks like rings edge on these two little things sticking out. And I can fix that. The screen light's totally gone. So there's a planetary nebula, so it's a dying sun-like star. We've got the star right here in the middle. It puffed up, blew off its outer layers, and formed this kind of interesting formation. It's a cloud of gas expanding off of that dying little star. So yeah.
Awesome. It just blows my mind every time you put us on one of these planetaries, man, because I mean, they do so well in this long focal length.
Yeah.
And I mean, the seeing up there is just spectacular. And of course, you're at 7,000-ish feet above sea level. You know, whereas us three guys on the bottom half of this panel here are under sea level, essentially. We are under the water, under the sea, as the Disney show put it. You know, so we definitely don't get as easy of a view. Now HAS has a dark sky site in a town in sort of central Texas, and I don't know what the elevation is there, guys. Do y'all have any idea? But y'all get some pretty decent views there, right?
Yeah, I haven't
about
seen
90 meters.
90 meters or so. Okay.
90 meters. Wow.
But yeah, for being an hour and a half outside of Houston, it does pretty well. We get pretty good skies out there.
Awesome stuff. Every club should have their own dark sky site, and it should be donated by the government or something. I don't know.
Well, ours was graciously leased to us by the Fondren Foundation. So they've been very generous in letting us use that land, and we've been using it for decades now. And hopefully we'll have many more decades to come. So
awesome, man. That's great.
Stephen, what telescope are we on tonight?
Yeah,
this is a 20-inch RC. It's a Ritchie Chrétien Optical Systems 20-inch f8 on a Planewave L500 mount. And this is at the McDonald Observatory Visitor Center.
And this is a globular cluster.
I was going to test your guys' knowledge of globulars. De Maizière.
Is it M75? I've got to guess.
Everybody make a guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and guess.
Okay, so Joe was yours M75.
It's the closest one to Saturn right now. So.
Okay.
It's not M75.
Bram, do you have a guess?
No, I'm gonna pass.
Okay, I'll say M30 something.
This is M72, so it's right next to the Saturn Nebula.
Okay. Joe was closest whilst going over, but that doesn't matter here. So
no.
Joe wins.
No.
There we go.
Everybody send Joe a cookie.
Or a gift card to Starbucks, right? There you go.
Yeah, just send him an Oreo in a Ziploc bag to his address. I'll provide it at the end of the show. So.
Okay, so we had a request for NGC 999. That's not quite in a good position right now. I'll do it in a little bit. And we had a request for Neowise. So let's see if I can get the coordinates for that and head on over there.
While you're doing that, I'll go through some of these comments here because we got some fun stuff here. Travis says, is there something you guys have never been able to see with a personal telescope that you own that you wish you could?
Oof.
And that question is impossible for Stephen because he has literally imaged Hoag's object. And you want to talk about the edge of the known universe right there. So, but I don't know, Stephen, has there ever been like a bucket list item that you haven't got to observe yet?
That's a good question. And I have to move my computer to access a different computer tucked behind it. I don't think I could think of anything off the top of my head because anything I've thought about wanting to see, I've seen it at least in the 82-inch. So,
yeah, so that disqualifies you completely from this question. So,
yeah, that's like
a
personal telescope.
That's like glitching in a video game. I mean, you entered the Sega Genie cheat codes, and then you just walked through Mario Brothers with the 82. That's basically the equivalent there.
It's action replay.
What about you, Joe?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You know, the not a thing that we can really kind of see very well right now, but I do regret when I was younger not getting a chance to look at Halley's Comet, or Halley's Comet, I should say, whether through a telescope or not. But yeah, like Stephen said, most of the things I've wanted to see, I've been able to see. Now, the question is, how well do you see it with a personal telescope, right? You know, when you look at what you see in a personal telescope versus what Stephen's able to see, or, you know, the images you see from Hubble, they're quite different. But the more that you research about it, the more you know about it. Even a small, faint, fuzzy object's pretty incredible to see. So,
exactly, and I think it's our friend Larry Mitchell, who is a member of the Houston Astronomical Society, one of the best visual observers on the planet.
Yeah.
he always emphasizes that not only should you know where an object is in the sky, like M72 here, but you should know the name. So then, that puts a moniker there, and then you should know something about it. And I've always felt this way too. And it was so cool to like hear somebody so much smarter and better at this than me be like, yeah, this is what you should do. And I'm like, yes, amen, brother. Because if you know, like Joe said, if you know the distance to M72, let's say, for instance, then you know a lot about the object, actually.
Yeah.
And it gives it a little bit more of a personal, like you're like, wow, this thing's like 50,000 light years away. Okay, dang, wow. Considering the nearest galaxy is 2.5 million light years away, so it's closer than that, but it's still extremely far away.
Yeah.
What about you, Bram? Anything you haven't seen yet that you're itching to? Because Bram looks at it all, really, honestly. But what's out there eluding you, Bram? What's haunting you?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me too, because I've seen, quasars and, stuff like that, which appear stellar, I've never seen Hoag's object, which would be cool. I don't know if it's visual, probably in a 48-inch Dobsonian. Maybe we can give Jimmy a call.
There you go.
I don't know. Man. It's a good question, Travis, because it's a tough one.
My software is giving me trouble with NeoEyes here. It just will not parse the line of orbital elements, so it's giving me trouble. It's going to take a minute here.
Is the wind picking up out there, Stephen?
Oh, is that coming through to you guys?
Yeah. Oh, is that like a fan or something?
No, yeah, the wind's blowing through the dome. It's I can mute myself.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was getting that crazy out there. Wow.
Yeah, it's really not. It's not at all. It's a very, very gentle breeze just passing through.
Yeah, just saying hello.
So yeah, it's not letting me go to NeoEyes. It's saying no. So
okay. Hey, no problem. I mean, it might be out of the way there. There's a lot. I'm missing a lot of comments, guys, and I apologize. There's been tons of questions, and I was like, yeah, put your questions in. We'll gladly answer. And now there's like 50 questions, and I feel horrible. So I'm going to turn all of the questions over to Bram. He's going to dazzle us with his expertise here.
Oh, God.
No, I was just messing with you, Bram. I'm not going to do that to you.
I see Tim Deneen made a suggestion for my scope name. He suggested Stoker.
Stoker? Ooh.
Yeah. Bram Stoker.
Aha.
Bram Stoker.
Ah. Wow.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I still like Bram Andromeda Galaxy better.
Yeah, the Bram Andromeda Galaxy is pretty much one of the most epic things. And I think Joe had actually made I was like, we should Photoshop Bram's face on M31, and then like 10 seconds later, I
2
get
minutes later
an image from Joe, and it's M31 with Bram's face on there, and it's with Bram Andromeda on there. Bramature astronomer is another.
All right,
yeah, there you go.
I was able to slew to NeoEyes here. It's not going to be great because it's pretty low, but.
Oh, there it is. There it is. We got it. It's so stupid. This is what we do out in the dark, y'all. We look at faint light and we're like, let's make stupid jokes. This is what we do. Is that it, Stephen? That little faint nothing there?
Apparently. One of these faint nothings.
One of these faint nothings is what was one of the best comets of the 2020s, because we can easily say that, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's low, and I'm looking at half the dome wall, so that's not helping. We're only using about half the aperture because it's so low. But I'm taking a longer exposure.
We do have an object question here. Can you find Starlink 526?
If it's up, yeah.
Yeah, because this is actually one of those military grade mounts, right? That can actually lock on and track satellites, essentially. Is that correct, Stephen? Or are we not allowed to talk about that?
It's public.
Okay. All right. I was just making sure.
We can track satellites if their orbital elements are known. We can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's that faint smudge
Oh,
in there.
let's
Yep.
get that bigger here. There we go. So it's inside that little asterism of stars there.
I believe so.
Okay.
Ain't much, but that's neowise. That's all that's left. It's about right for a 9th magnitude comet with half the aperture of the scope, I think.
Yeah, and that thing is like way out there now. I'm not exactly sure how far it is, but I mean, it's got to be 6, 7, 8 times the distance that it was from the sun back when we were all, oohing and on about it
sure.
in the evening
Oh,
sky.
Yeah.
It's just hauling it.
Yep, alrighty, let's.
Can Travis explain to the public that Starlinks are not UFOs? I think this is more important than us blaming Travis for this particular debacle. I think that we should now, because he is at fault here, and we should blame Travis, we should also make him our go-to guy for when people are like, are these UFOs? No, talk to this guy. He can explain it all to you. So I think that's what we're going to do. And I thank you, Celsa, for suggesting that. Appreciate that. Greta says, hi from West Houston. Would love to make it out to the McDonald Observatory someday soon. I put observatory in there. I paraphrased you, but I knew what you meant. And yeah, so Stephen, y'all are back open for limited outreach events at the thing. Tell us about that. Or are we not allowed to talk about that yet? I don't know.
Yeah, so we are open again to the public for star parties, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. However, if you are thinking of coming and you don't already have reservations, I have some bad news. Everything is sold out. So there's unfortunately so much demand that everything that we have posted is currently
Really
booked. So that's flattering, but yeah, we are unfortunately unable to accommodate you if you don't already have reservations, and reservations are required in order to enter the observatory. But yes, we are open. We do hope to increase our capacity and be able to serve the public more, because that's what we love to do. It's part of our mission. But we will also still be doing online programs, and I'll do one this Thursday. Haven't quite announced it yet, but I'll be doing a live stream this Thursday. A little more detail about the objects. But yeah.
Awesome, dude. I love your live streams. They've really been, during this whole quarantine thing, they've really been awesome stuff.
Absolutely.
And, like a 2-hour jam-packed session of this kind of awesomeness without the mindless rambling, which is
Yeah.
far more, Stephen even wears like a suit and tie. It's amazing.
You may not realize it, but I use this platform to test equipment and test new things. So, and the stakes aren't as high and stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. We have a low brow here. We have a low bar that we have to.
Yeah.
So
we're guinea pigs. That's
we're
fine.
good.
Yeah,
No, but
exactly.
I'm honored, man, because these McDonald Observatory things are world renowned. I mean, they're literally internationally famous. I mean, Stephen is now so famous, this guy can't even go to the drugstore in Fort Davis anymore without being like, hey, you're the Sprite guy, right? Like you're the Sprite guy, because Reddit decided to run with some images of Stephen's, and some people did what they did to me, and I feel your pain, brother. They stole his images. They did not credit him for his work. And I know exactly what that feels like, and it is not cool. And so I'm sorry that happened to you, brother, but I think it's great that you're finally getting a lot of recognition, because you deserve it, man. You're an amazing imager, amazing photographer, and it's awesome stuff what you're doing with the sprites, man. It's very
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah. That whole image, if you aren't familiar with it, you can Google Google jellyfish sprite, and you'll know. You'll see the image in my articles. But yeah, it sucks to have your work stolen. Photographers put a lot of work into what they do. It may not seem like it sometimes. It may just seem like they just snapped a picture, but you don't see all the planning and everything that went up to it. And it hurts. It's actually more than just Reddit, right? Reddit's one thing. That lots of people stole it on Reddit.
Yeah.
But major publications, Atlas Obscura, Smithsonian
Oh, wow.
Magazine,
Really?
Russia Today, Yahoo, they all stole it.
Wow.
So they're all contributing to the problem as well. And I'm
Yeah,
calling
because
them out
one source shared it and they weren't responsible enough to do their due diligence in journalism and credit the source, and then all these other hacks just was like, oh, let's just share this since they shared it and that'll give us credibility too. This is kind of how our media works these days, it seems.
Yeah,
That's
made me
ridiculous, man.
lose a lot of faith in journalism, especially science journalism, because a lot of the people who stole it didn't get their facts right. And of course, that misinformation spread. It was really frustrating. But I do want to call out the one journalist who I think did the best job of explaining what red sprites are. It's Scott. I don't remember his last name, but he works for the Canadian Meteorological Service, and one of the articles, if you Google jellyfish sprite or red sprite or my name, one of the first ones will be that article, and it goes into detail and explains how it all works. And he actually took several days to research what they are rather than try to be the first to publish something.
Yeah.
And that has to be recognized. It's so important to get your facts straight before you publish, because these days the incentive is to get an article out fast rather than be accurate.
Yeah.
Because you get the clicks and get
That's
the
right.
views.
It's all about the clicks. That's why clickbait is a term, because we've all done it. We've all been like, what? No way. Click. And like, oh, you immediately regret it because you've been hit by 13 ads. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm sorry that happened to you, buddy. But hey, we're on this platform, at least as much as I can do on Deep Sky Dude. We always credit Stephen because his work is worth it.
Thank you.
And it's worth seeing. I mean, look at what we're seeing right here. M16, the core of Messier 16 in all of its beautiful star forming glory. So this is a stellar nursery right here, like 5,500 light years away. So we're seeing where stars are being born. And I mean, everybody can recognize that one little area up there of the Hubble image, the pillars of creation. I brought that comment up from Tim a second ago. And it's just incredibly sharp, dude. Incredibly sharp, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, this isn't H alpha. I think someone asked that in the comments. This is just a luminance filter. So just straight up.
Yeah. Yeah, and Bram, I've always thought that too. We'll get to some names or some scope names for Bram's scope. I think this one's going to be the prevailing one here. It's Scopey McScope face, which I don't really care what Bram calls his scope from now on. This is
it. This is at least the unofficial name, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. The comments are moving here. Let's see.
All right. Yeah. So aside from
RPG,
and okay, Bob Snyder asked about the dumbbell. Let's see.
Yes, he did.
All right, I'll go there.
So we can all be dumbbells together. And
we can't blame Travis for everything that's gone on with your photo, though, right?
Oh yeah, we can blame him. Sure.
Okay.
Well, yeah, he's just our default. Sort of.
Bag, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And it was funny because Ron Sparkman, a friend of mine, runs Stardom Space. He does these panels a lot. He live streams more than anybody I know. And Travis was a guest on one of his live streams, and I was like, finally troll you from this side of the thing, ha ha ha. And then I started saying all kinds of things, and then I felt bad because everyone kind of joined in and
ruined the whole event.
It did get a little out of hand, and tears were shed, not by Travis, but by others for him. So no, it's good fun though.
I think I'm going to call my telescope the TARDIS.
The TARDIS, okay, yeah.
It's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And it travels through time.
That is true. And you kind of are a doctor. Who?
Say what?
Huh? Doctor, huh? it's not quite Doctor Who.
Doctor, huh?
Huh?
Doctor, oh.
Doctor, what? I'm not exactly sure what Bram says. I can never take responsibility for what Bram says, Kai. So I don't know. You'll have to ask him. But The dumbbell in all its glory. Look at that.
Yeah, trying to get the computer screen glow out of there. It's hard to
Just a
filter
little
it all
amp
out.
glow. Yeah, just a little amp glow there,
Yeah, no, that's actually because of the laptop screen I'm using. It's picking that up. It's that sensitive, but it's
Wow.
stacking out. It's being averaged out. I was only in
Sure.
one frame.
Yeah,
So
and
I can't see you guys. I'm just sitting in the dark.
that's fine. We're not doing anything really worth visualization. That's why I am completely covered by Steven's comment here, as you can clearly see, which is awesome.
Yeah, they
But
said I had a face for dark rooms like that. So.
Yeah, and he's the brightest image on the screen
Right.
here.
Let me just turn off some of these lights.
I just ruined everyone's night vision by putting Joe on the screen, which is ironic because we have, the ultimate in darkness over here, the king of darkness himself, Stephen Hummel. Just a red LED in the room is all he's been reduced to now.
Yeah,
A ghostly image of a face back there.
You kind of look like a really bad RO11 representation or something.
Wow, I do actually have an infrared webcam. That's in the other dome, but I was debating whether or not you want to be able to see me but look like an alien, or if you want to actually
Yeah.
have that spooky look and stuff.
I think the red light gives it that iconic astronomy. Yeah, because that's what we do here is astronomy. So if we start arguing about whether amber lights are better for your night vision, we lose so much as astronomers because red lights are where it's at, boys.
It's just the culture now,
That is right. Regardless of what the science says, right? We're sticking with the red lights.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. Yeah.
No matter what.
We got what other requests we got? We saw a whole bunch earlier.
My thing froze up there for a second. I think I'm back. We did the helix. I'm sorry, we did the dumbbell. I don't know if the helix is available.
I don't think it is.
Stellarium shows that. Okay, thank you. So sorry I missed that comment. I'm way behind, guys. I'm so far behind. Like Tara made this comment yesterday, and I'm just barely getting to it now because there's so many comments here. It's ridiculous.
The helix is too low.
Is it still up?
It's too low. A little bit.
It's too low. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be aimed at the wall. So
there's a couple of NGCs for you there, Stephen. I don't know if any of those are accessible. I'm not really. I'm doing more comments than I am Sky Safari Pro here. Bob says maybe 6210.
Goes to Jupiter. It's 3242. We could do that.
Ghost of Jupiter is one of my favorites for sure.
Well,
yeah.
3242.
That along with the Saturn Nebula. I mean, we're bringing the whole planetary theme together here, right?
Yeah, the planetary parade is what I called it because I didn't know exactly what we'd be checking out, but I knew we'd start with planets. So Jackie says, I remember walking around in the dark looking up at all the adults with telescopes in the 80s, sometime watching Halley's Comet. I seriously don't think I dreamed this. It's vague, but I remember this. You probably do, Jackie. I mean, because back in the day, I know that was like the comet of the century for them. It was everybody knew it was coming, and then there it was. People started spotting it, and so a huge rush on amateur telescopes went down in the 80s. I think it was 82, right? Or
86.
86. Okay, sorry, yeah. So there was a big rush on telescopes and stuff, and so you probably did experience this. Joe says, don't underestimate the Magellanic Clouds. They are substantial galaxies. Absolutely. That's a good point. I didn't even think about the southern hemisphere objects for Travis's question. But dude, there's a lot of stuff down there that I haven't seen yet. The tarantula.
Yes.
That's right. That's a good point.
The tarantula.
And the tarantula, right?
And the tarantula, yeah.
There you go.
And then also the spider. No, the tarantula. I'm just kidding. Now, with the Magellanic Clouds would be cool to photograph too, like wide field. I would like to get a time lapse of them kind of doing their thing. And in the coal sack down there or something like that.
Yeah.
The Southern Cross would be cool to see.
The Southern Cross. Yeah, exactly.
I can see part of the Southern Cross from here. I can see a little bit.
Yeah, I've actually seen it from Mauna Kea in Hawaii. So it wasn't in the Southern Hemisphere myself, but it was easily visible there.
Yeah. Absolutely. What's the Andromeda Galaxy looking like tonight? I don't know. It's kind of low, Stephen, but we might
maybe much later.
Yeah.
I said goes to Jupiter. I was wrong. That's not
Oh,
that's way set. But this is the cat's eye. You can see
okay,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, Andromeda. Yeah, soon. Let me check on exactly when.
It should
That
be breaking the horizon soon.
I mean, it is up. It's got to hit got to clear the wall of the dome. That's the tricky part.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
Yes.
definitely up, like you said. It's pretty high, actually. Morgan says, my dream job is working in an observatory. I agree with you there. I mean, and, you know, this is the closest that I really ever get is just hanging out with Stephen on the regular.
As a matter of fact, we
He
can
has
do
the keys.
Andromeda very
So it's at
soon.
about 30 degrees up right now.
Okay, so we'll get to Andromeda here in a bit. And this is
27,
the
for
which
me.
one is this again? Which planetary nebula is this again?
This is the cat's eye.
The cat's eye.
6543.
Okay. Which is a beautiful planetary nebula. Again, we talk about these objects. If y'all aren't familiar with what planetary nebulas are, just think a star the similar size or mass of our sun that has run out of fuel to keep itself a star. So the core sort of collapses in, and that causes the star to heat up, puff its gases out, blow these shells of gas into space. And we get to look at this. And this is actually a fairly temporary process. There's only a few tens of thousands of years that the star exists in this phase, and then they become like a white dwarf or fade away or whatever. And we're very lucky to get to see the Saturn Nebula this way because in about 20,000 years, you might not be able to see it like this at all.
Yeah. Let's go to another one right next door.
Ooh, let's see how
Snowball.
fast.
Yeah. Oh, it has to flip all the way around. It's equivalent of a meridian flip, so it's going to take an extra 5 seconds.
Piece of junk.
Which is absolutely unacceptable. I mean, I know we started out with this high expectation. This is too long. I'm bored now. I've already changed the channel.
Now it's got to take the exposure. That's the long part.
Yeah, so it's already on target, but it's look at that, man. That's ridiculous,
Wow.
dude. That's insane.
So I didn't even actually slow down all the way.
A Messier marathon wouldn't even be challenging.
Knock it out in about 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, you can accomplish a lot with this scope in a night. It's pretty cool.
That's absolutely amazing, man. And this is the blue snowball, you said?
That's correct. If you had a color camera, it would be blue.
Yeah, and so color, people always ask about color. They're like, oh, tell me can you see color in telescopes? And usually the answer is no. But sometimes, yes, you absolutely can. And definitely this flavor of planetary nebula, you get them in blues and blue-greens sometimes. In the Ring Nebula, in a big enough scope, you can pick up like blue-greens and almost like hints of pink in there. I've seen it in Jimmy's 48-inch Dobsonian.
Yeah.
But you have to have a massive scope on a great night and all this stuff. But most of the time, a galaxy or even a bigger, brighter nebula, you're usually going to see gray. It's not kind of like what you're seeing here. Your eye isn't really good in a telescope eyepiece at picking out the color, but I can tell you that even a gray smudge in a telescope, after you've been searching it for an hour and a half, it's pretty satisfying to find and be like, that's the galaxy, because it's got that little L shape above it and to the right. You see it it's like a little gun or something. There it is, and you kind of, that's how, people like Bram and I and Joe, like when we're out star hopping, this is how we do it. We start at one bright star. We know the object we're looking for is just to the left of that bright star. So you put your telescope there and you start searching, and then eventually there she is. And you get to look at it and call all your friends over and bother them.
That's what you're asking them. Yeah. Am I wrong here? Is this the right thing that I'm looking at? And you get 3 other people to confirm it, right?
Well, let me get my Uranometria and come over there. And I'm going to hold my book upside down so that we know exactly what we're looking at here.
I'm going to go to the wild duck. Someone requested that.
Oh, yeah. We're on a marathon now, y'all. Here we go.
All right. The scope's already on target, but the dome has to catch up.
This is unacceptable. This is what is this? This is like an amateur hour here. Travis says light pollution, horrible for Earth, stargazing in a big city, but even on big telescopes like in Hawaii, can celestial objects cause a similar distraction?
So okay. Oh, so the question is, can other celestial objects create their own light pollution? I mean, the moon, obviously.
Yeah, the moon is the big
Moon.
one. Jupiter,
Um,
Saturn.
Yeah. I mean, yes, if you were observing something with a large telescope within a couple of degrees or maybe half a degree, depending on the telescope, of like Venus or Jupiter, the glare can kind of seep through depending on the optics and the field of
Yeah.
view. So, yeah, that's the door just eerily blew itself open. I'm gonna
Oh,
The ghost of Jupiter, right?
yeah, the ghost of
With
the
the-
observatory. That's actually a bunch of people that are there to camp out at the McDonald Observatory parking lot, and they're like, "Hey, are y'all open?
People did do that. People did do that, so don't wear mine.
We were watching this stream online. We thought we'd just drive on up, you know."
Yeah, doesn't work that way.
You got to have a ticket, sir.
All right, so yeah, the ring. I did. The ring was requested earlier, and I said no, and now we can do it. So let's go to the ring. All right, let's see how fast we can get there.
Okay, time it, somebody.
I already clicked
Where are we
go.
going? Yeah, where are we going from?
And we're on target. So just gotta take the picture.
I forgot to start the timer.
You didn't even have enough time to start the time.
I'm still opening the
I'm
app
already
on my
there.
phone.
I'm there.
Look at that.
Wow. Now this is
All right,
again, this is a monochrome camera, so we aren't going to see any color on these objects. But in a way, that's almost better with this style of object because you get a little bit more detail, and you get a little bit more, maybe even contrast. I don't know, Stephen. Am I imagining that, or is it just?
No, yeah, there. I think there is more contrast with a monochrome versus color. There is.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking
And
a
what
longer exposure.
What he's doing there is he's taking an exposure and then sort of bringing out different values of the light curve so that we can see it. And it looks like he's doing a lot of complicated stuff, and he absolutely is. But this is stuff. This is stuff any of y'all can learn. All you have to do is get this stuff and mess with it. This is a sharp cap, right, Stephen? This is a free program.
Yeah, I'm using the pro version, but it's 15 pounds a year for British.
That's a lot of weight. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
You have to lose 15 pounds a year or gain.
Yeah,
15
you got it.
I've got it.
But yeah, it's a great program for this kind of a thing.
Camilla says people are stealing Steven's job. He's a collectible now. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's true.
You'll basically be seeing him in pawn shops and antique stores eventually.
Oh man,
Bobbleheads of Stephen Hummel.
is that that's the background galaxy.
Yeah, that's the one. NG or IC 4 something niner.
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, IC 492.
Something like that. It's like 200 something million.
Like 18.
This was like the Cloudy Nights challenge of the month or whatever, is to see the central star of the ring and that background galaxy. So there you go. You can say you've done it now.
Yeah.
Done this month's cosmic challenge.
Log into Cloudy Nights and log your observation there. I like that. The detail that you have to get out of the ring before you can even just get the core of that IC galaxy up there.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the detail there that you're getting on the Ring Nebula.
That's a really sharp view.
Yeah, I mean, look at the mottling and sort of the tendrils that are going on in there. It's almost like down at the bottom right, it just sort of like it's like an X in there. It's just like it almost looks like airbrushed.
Yeah,
I see 1296.
1296.
Apparent magnitude 15.34. So
It's apparently
very dim.
not very dim. Yeah. I always say, there's NGC objects, there's Messier objects or M objects, and then there's of course the IC catalog. And I always say that if it says IC, you probably won't.
Won't see it. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
But it's almost not true. There was a planetary nebula one time I got from my backyard here in light polluted, Port Arthur, basically down here in Texas. And I forget which one it is. It's up near the Little Dipper somewhere. So somewhere around the polar north or whatever. And it's an icy. And I put my telescope on it, and I was very surprised to actually resolve it. The central star is extremely bright in that one, and it's got a really tight ring around it. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I mean, okay, I do have a 22-inch telescope, but still in light pollution, with the magnitude, the sky glow, the sky wasn't great that night, and I was pulling it in. So you'd be amazed at what you can actually see, sometimes when you don't think you can see some things. You'd be really surprised.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah. That's one of the best views of the ring, honestly, I've seen. Like the seeing is very good. It's very crisp, and it's also like almost straight up. So that's a great view. Right there.
That is.
Look at that. Look at that asterism, because Bram is really big on asterisms. That's one of his favorite things. And yeah, look at that thing. Just like it's like somebody reading a book over there or something. They're kind of they're looking down at their cell phone. I don't know.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah.
You see the little guy looking down at his cell phone?
Yep.
Yeah, so should we? I think we should christen that tonight. How about we can all write a paper about it and enlist each other as sources. Isn't that how it works, Stephen? We all just write things down on paper.
Your friends, right?
Yeah. Joe Califf was there, and so was Bram Weisman. Stephen Hummel took the image.
Yeah.
The guy reading his cell, because there you go. You got this magnificent, beautiful nebula, and you just got this guy standing over here checking out his cell phone. Like, did I get a good picture of it? Bram has actually discovered a lot of asterisms, and we should definitely talk about that one time on a live stream for sure. Because I've got a couple under my belt too, but Bram has way more than me now. He's found all kinds of weird stuff, but he is turning the Pleiades into the lunar lander, which I still think is really cool. But it does look like a lunar lander. If you go look at the Pleiades while it's rising in the east, and you're like, okay, I see a lunar lander there for sure.
We had a request for the double, which isn't so far. Yeah,
it's actually right next door.
Yes, it is. So I'm going to reduce the exposure by a lot, down to fractions of a second. And we should, we do have it. Gosh, okay.
I've missed so many comments that I'm going to start putting them out of context, which will be funny for us. So we'll just be seeing people's comments, like, not sure if it's up yet. We're not either, Jason. Sorry I missed your comment, but there it is an hour later. I appreciate y'all watching, of course, and hanging out with us.
Okay, where's one of them? Where's the other one? I zoomed in too much.
Ooh, yeah, because we're that zoomed in. That's a double star, but there's another double star. There it is. Yeah, right, look at that.
Yeah. Let me zoom in on that.
This is a really great object for amateur telescopes to see how good your skies are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll be able to definitely pull in so you can see two groups of stars there. I should orient my hands properly on the image there. And you got a star group up here and a star group down there. You can split those in binoculars, no problem. All day long, low power on any telescope, $50 telescope from Sears, you're going to be able to split these stars. But you got to get a little more power to do what Stephen's doing here. And you can see that even though there's a double star there, each star set is two stars, and you've got sort of one star set pointing at the other. It sort of makes almost like a T, or it just points to each other, if you can kind of imagine that. And one of my favorites, by the way, this is an incredibly. I mean, look at how steady the image is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's really steady.
It's got to be sub-arc second seeing. They just look like headlights out there.
I can tell you. Well, I can measure it.
Science.
Yeah.
This was for a different image, but I feel that it applies to this. When what Enrique probably thought with the Pillars of Creation was an amazing image, but I think Enrique would agree with us that this is an amazing image too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's at 0.8 arc seconds right now.
Wow. I think that's actually impossible here. Anywhere near Houston. I think
we violated the laws of physics.
Yeah,
exactly.
you would have to burn a hole in the atmosphere with a laser, and you would get that seeing for a split second while the atmosphere collapsed back in on itself. And
that's very nice.
Yeah, that's good.
How does one go about measuring the seeing?
it's- so that number was not taken from this image, although I could do it that way. You can measure the full width half max. Basically, you take the brightness of the star and its profile. So if you like zoom in really far on the star, okay, I gotta find the star.
It's somewhere in there.
There
it
is.
is.
Okay. Way
Good
far.
grief.
Yeah. So when you zoom
Wow.
in, it looks like it's jiggling around, and you would take the average of the diameter of the star, basically, where it's half as bright as the core. So that's the half max. So you take the
Across the full width, yeah.
across the full width, and then that value in arc seconds is often quoted as the seeing. There's other ways of doing it, but that's the more common way. The number I just gave was we have a telescope here. It's running right now, and its entire job is basically to determine the seeing with an even different method. It's really complicated. It's called the DIM tower, differential image motion monitor, and it's got these funky gratings that actually take a bright star and split its light across, disperse it, and basically from that it works out the same thing.
I knew that y'all did it automatically out there, but I didn't know it did it that way. That's really cool. So it's almost like a spectra. I mean, kind of, right? It's splitting the light.
It's kind of like if you've ever seen like those. It's like a Botanoff mask, but instead it's got like circle apertures in it. Have you ever seen that?
Mhm.
Like it's like a focus mask. It's kind of like that, but with a bit of extra spreading to it. I don't understand entirely how it works. Honestly, it's not my job.
It's out of his pay grade, folks.
Yeah, I don't know.
As amateur astronomers, we have a completely different method for determining seeing, right? Just an estimate. So
yeah. You look up at the sky and you go,
you're like, hey, I think
You're
5.
like, it really sucks over there, but over there it's pretty good. Let's look. Is there anything over there you want to see? No, but I always do it visually, Joe. Like you said,
Yeah.
so that's definitely a legitimate answer there because when we're all out together, everybody's gonna start chattering at about 10:30, 11,
Yes.
midnight. What do y'all think? Is the skies messed up, or am I just I've had too many adult beverages tonight? And or it's like, wow, look at how clear the sky is. Like like we'll be doing, we'll be marveling like with what Steven's doing here, but.
Usually starts off with, man, the seeing really sucks tonight, huh?
Yeah,
and everybody agrees, and then like 5 minutes later, it's like, oh no, this is actually not too bad, right?
Yeah,
so,
I love it. I love hearing. Oh, is the sky getting a little soft?
Yeah, mushy.
What does that even mean? Yeah, is the sky getting mushy? I don't know. It's not in my mouth. I have no idea the texture of the sky at this particular moment, so I don't know if it's mushy or soft or caramel. I don't know, but
You can't reach out and touch it, feel it.
No, I would try.
Yeah, you try, yeah.
It's just molecules, but but no, I love that. I love hearing stuff like that because usually I'm like, oh man, really? And then I look up, because I've been working like either logging something or in the eyepiece too much, and I'm like, dang, they're right, But then is it eye strain, because you've been looking in this thing and then you've been going to a red light and kind of scribbling down this nonsense and then going back. Is it your eyes? I always wonder, is it your eyes playing tricks with you and stuff like that happens?
Yeah. And I wonder how much of it's like psychological, right? When people say, yeah, really, seeing's not too good. And then you're looking at it, it's like, well, it's not that bad, right? And then you just kind of psych yourself out. And it's just like, yeah, maybe it is not that great.
There's a lot of, when you get into visual astronomy, there is a lot of like things that you'll do, not even thinking about it, that will affect your vision for an hour. If you scratch your eye, or if you accidentally turn on the white light instead of the red, or if someone else locks their car and you're looking right at it and you're like, bah, like, ow. I mean, because in the dark, headlights that go off like that might as well be a flashbang grenade.
Yeah.
Right in your face because it's just absurdly bright. And then it takes about a half hour for the rhodopsin to build back up in your eye, and then you have night vision again. But there's all kinds of, like you can be squinting too hard. Going in and like, do I see this galaxy or not? Okay, it's right next to, you're going back to your chart. A lot of us are using our cell phones now for this.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, and so they're not completely red. So there's a lot of intricacies that go into visual astronomy, and just like photography.
Yeah.
Don't even laugh about that.
I'm laughing about Lyra Parrish's comment.
All right, we're about to get to it. But this is this this is the Andromeda galaxy right here. So just so y'all know, and this is maybe 1/10 of the galaxy here that
Yeah.
Stephen
Oh
can
yeah.
show us.
Just a small slice of the core. But look at that dust lane.
I know that's
beautiful.
tack
I
sharp,
really
dude.
can't get in there and clean that.
Actually, Bram, I heard that they're working on it. Space.com had an article that they're working on clearing all that up. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. What's Stephen Hiles in the house? What's up, Stephen? Tara says newbies when the Milky Way comes in. Clouds, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it getting dawn over there? Like, what is that noise over there? And then it's like an hour later, it's like, oh, it's the Milky Way.
I think we have storms coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a bit of clouds on the horizon, and we just kind of chuckle, like, no, not.
They pack up their scope.
Right.
Yes, they pack it in.
Yeah.
Because the Milky Way's coming up. All that light pollution. I guess we better get out of here. We don't have a color camera tonight, Robert, but we might be able to look at Alberio later if we get a chance after some of the other objects, Andromeda, and it's another double star that we all love. But he's bringing up a good point, Robert, is that it's a colorful double.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I can go back to that color, the planet cam.
It's fine, dude.
Yeah.
It's fine. But we will get to Lyra Parrish's comment here. She says, okay, like, I really know this is off topic because we all know that it is. But can we discuss how Bram looks like Robert Downey Jr.?
I am Iron Man.
That was just enough awkward there to make it amazing. And you almost could have thought that we planned that, but that seriously was not part of the plan. But that's awesome, dude. That's so awesome. Bob says, I did that as soon as that cloud goes away. Yeah. It's always the clouds that we're dealing with here. Like sucker holes is another term for it. Like, well, we can't look over there and over there, but over there is pretty clear. So let's look over. Can we look over there?
Yep. Yeah. And by the time you do, it's cloudy there.
Yeah, exactly. By the time you get the scope around, especially if you have a scope that's slower than Steven's over here. But Ricky says, for the dust in Andromeda, we should just get a Swiffer, and I agree. Yeah, it's probably the best method there. We're gonna need a lot of Swiffers, though.
I need a big Swiffer for that.
Yeah, that's a big Swiffer. I like Swiffer now. That's just a fun word to say.
Swiffer, yeah. I just want to say it.
That's M32 right there. 32.
Nice.
A little companion galaxy to Andromeda.
Getting ate up by the galaxy, slowly but surely.
Yeah, you can kind of see a faint glow here, and that's Andromeda, kind of off to the side. There's an open cluster in Andromeda which we can resolve. NGC 206. Yeah,
that's right, 206. Yeah. What's up, David Farina in the house? How you doing, man? I'm sorry, I'm trying to go through some of these comments here, and I'm bad at this. I apologize. I'm rusty. It's been so long. I mean, I didn't touch a computer. It was amazing. I was out in Yellowstone. I didn't even know what Wi-Fi was. There was no Wi-Fi. Okay. There was no Wi-Fi. Snyder says, greetings from Cincinnati. Here for the 311 music. I'm still working on the 311 instrumental stuff, Snyder, just for you. Just for you, man. And I'll only ever send you the files. I won't ever actually just put those out there. Enrique says, I have a trouble searching for deep sky objects. Sometimes use Stellarium on a laptop with 2 red filters to see the field of view with my telescope of my eyepiece. Yeah, that's kind of what we do, Enrique. Mm-hmm. There are ways that you can darken out the screen on your laptop or your computer or whatever, or especially if you have an iPhone. There's an easy way to do it. I'm not sure about Android. Oh yeah, there you go, Stephen. Look at that.
Wow.
Nice stellar association there.
Yeah, it's kind of stretched weirdly, but yeah, I mean, those stars you're seeing there are in another galaxy. They're
2.5. Yeah, that's the furthest maybe open cluster we can see readily. I guess maybe. Well, yeah, give or take a few, but it's one of the furthest open clusters we can see.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best clusters, the best example I think of a cluster in another galaxy that we can actually resolve.
And it's so
Um,
huge. Can you
I was gonna
imagine?
say, could you imagine seeing that? Like
Yeah,
if you were
living in
the
the
same,
middle of
yes.
that, you don't have probably nighttime. It's probably not as bad as a glob.
Yeah.
Living in,
Yeah,
if you lived in a globular cluster, but if you lived in this
maybe.
thing, you would know there would be prominent, maybe even daytime constellations.
You're right.
Yeah, because those are massive stars. Those are blue giants
Blue
and things like
giants,
that.
yeah.
So they're in thousands of times more luminous than the
Exactly.
sun each.
Mhm.
So it may be worse than a globular in terms of like
Right.
brighter. Yeah.
Yeah, and no telling what kind of awesome dust structures might be kind of interwoven in there. You might be able to see from certain vantage points. I mean, who knows? I mean, there's a lot of speculation there. That's what's cool about astronomy is you can almost like put yourself in those situations to kind of imagine what it would be like to live over there and be looking back at the Milky Way. You know, I
Yeah.
think from that vantage point, aren't we mostly an edge-on galaxy to that? Am I wrong about that, or are we kind of?
Yeah, I guess we would be. I mean, yeah, just because you could see the plane of the Milky Way in the sky, we would be pretty close to edge
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
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 And we are what they think. I mean, they keep revising this, but they think we're an ultra thin galaxy because it looks like from where we're at in the galaxy anyway that we are definitely a lot thinner or longer than we are wide. And we see that all over the place. There's all kinds of awesome galaxies out there that we get to see, like needle type galaxies, the needle
Mhm.
NGC 4565, and there's just the Splinter galaxy. There's just some epic ones, and we've
Yeah.
shown a lot of those here with Stephen on the
Yeah.
thing, and so that's what we kind of look like from outside. Maybe more than likely. I mean, galaxies. When you get into the spiral types, they kind of similarly look the same. Not
Oh,
true.
we
There's
lost him. There you go. There he
I think
goes.
we lost Will. Oh,
Oh,
he's
am I
back.
back?
Second.
All right.
You're
all right.
back.
Sorry, I had a little woozy moment there. No, that's fine.
Uh,
My Wi-Fi is going weird, I guess.
I'm seeing a lot of questions about the sombrero. That is not up right now. It's a
Yeah.
spring object.
The sombrero is not up. That is a fun one though. In Corvus, which is always awesome. Sorry, Snyder.
Going
We'll get-
to 7331.
Ooh. 7331.
While we're slewing, I'd like to make a shout out to Kai Renee Simone. She's actually a high school classmate of mine.
Ha!
Yeah, we went to school together in Chicago, and she's up in Michigan now. She's an educator, and she reached out to me a couple days ago for some help with a project that she's working on. It's going to have some astronomy content, and I can't give away too much here, but she's going to collaborate with a few members of the Houston Astronomical Society on this. She asked a question a little earlier, and I'd like to answer that. She asked how she can take pictures with her smartphone through a telescope.
Yeah.
So it's kind of limited what you can do there because the objects are so faint. You can do planetary mostly, particularly the moon, pretty easy to work with. And for best results, you're going to want to get an adapter that will hold the phone to the eyepiece and hold it steady and let you position it precisely because it's really, really touchy. You got to get it just right. So
That's right.
I think the best one on the market is the Celestron Nex YZ because it has fine controls and really lets you position it in 3 dimensions, which is important because sometimes you need to be not right up against the eyepiece, but pulled back a little bit. So
That's right. Yeah, the Nex YZ is pretty much the best way to do the iPhone thing. You can always do a quick little thing with the moon, just hold the phone up there and get a quick image, but that does not work with anything other than the moon, basically. And it can get pretty frustrating. But like Bram said, the Celestial YZ is an amazing adapter. And I gotta say, like, dang, like I almost inserted another word there, but look at this cluster of
I
galaxies
know.
here.
This is amazing.
This
I
is
thought you were gonna say that
absurd
like,
here.
I'm like, dang.
So this is probably what the Andromeda galaxy really does look like from a certain perspective. I mean, you could even imagine like being away from the Milky Way and seeing that far galaxy. Maybe that's Andromeda, kind of, and we're seeing it from a different perspective even, so that's pretty epic, man. And you said this is NGC 7331?
That's correct. Also known as the Deer Lick Galaxy, and the group is sometimes called the Deer Lick Group.
Yeah. Which is because it looks like deer, like usually whitetail, came by and licked the galaxies, correct?
I have no idea why it's called that.
I think it's actually, is it the Deer Lick Observatory?
I've heard that, yeah. And I tried to Google if there was some association, but I couldn't figure out is the Deer Lick Observatory, is that why it's called that? They did something with this, but I mean, it was discovered well before that observatory was built. So
Yeah. Well, maybe it was just named in honor of it, or maybe it has nothing to do with it at all, and we're just making all this up.
I have no idea why it's called that. Yeah.
47 million light years away. So the big galaxy there in the bottom, NGC 7331, is 47 million light years away. So the light that's hitting Stephen's telescope tonight on planet Earth here, being broadcast out to all y'all, left there 47 million years ago, and traveled at the fastest possible rate of speed that we know of, especially for light. Obviously, the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second, 6 trillion miles a year. It still took 47 million years to get here. It's insane to me. And like Joe brought up earlier, it's important to know something about these objects, and the fact that we're seeing that kind of detail at 50 million light years is impressive.
Just incredible. Yeah.
And these other smaller ones are in the background, and I don't remember exactly, 200 or 300 million light years each.
Yeah. So the one just above there and to the right, that is 7335 NGC, and it's 311 million light years away.
311. Wow. Is this I've never noticed this little guy right here.
That's what Sky Safari Pro says. Yeah. That is man, I don't even have that listed on Sky Safari. It's too faint. It's not even there.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
That big galaxy is a magnitude 14.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, 13.3. So that thing down there is 17 maybe?
16?
16?
I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
We're getting nerdy here, y'all. We're getting nerdy, but
it's really small, real faint. Never noticed it before, so.
Me either, man.
Yeah. That
little galaxy above, let's see where that one is at.
Little lenticular guy.
Yeah, that's PGC 69337. If it says PGC, you will never see it. That one's 430 million light years away. So almost a half a billion light years away.
Wow.
That
what
little
about this
galaxy.
Little spiral guy up here?
That one, yeah, I caught my eye earlier. I love that. The spiral. It's got the star next to it. Yeah, so that one's 7337. And it is 320 million light years away. So it's comparable. It's about 10 million light years further than that guy on the right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're about 100 million years closer to us than that guy in the background. And then, you've got the 40 million light year galaxy that appears in the foreground there. And is that just a bright star up there, Stephen? Or is it fuzzy up there to the right? The right middle, that bright star right down there.
I can't see.
Over to the right of your cursor there. I'm pointing to it. You can't see where I'm pointing.
No, I have you turned off, because if I turn.
No, I know. This is ridiculous that I'm pointing to it, and you would have to know, the star over there. It's just that one to the right of that really far galaxy. It may just be because it's so. Yeah, that one.
I think it's just a bright
so
star.
bright. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome
All right.
Stuff,
That's
man.
an awesome one. Let's go to the neighboring group of another famous group of galaxies not so far from here.
Yes.
What was the NGC for this deer lick?
7331.
Yep, 7331 is that big galaxy there. Or you could look it up by the PGC 69337, which might be harder and funner. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ricky says, have you ever done the M33? We have in a previous broadcast, I believe, maybe last year even. We've been doing these for a while here, it seems like.
Here? We started this in April or something.
Was it
but-
April? Okay,
yeah.
well, I thought it was...
It's
last
2020,
spring.
so yeah.
Yeah,
It's been-
time
yeah,
is
it's-
meaningless.
Yeah, you're right, man. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, we started this right after like the pandemic started. So
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Which makes it seem like it's been 5 years, right?
It has, yeah.
So I don't think
been
we've
home.
done 33. I don't know if it's quite high enough yet, but
Yeah, because it's lower than Andromeda. So
Yeah.
Tua says, hi, everyone, watching from India. Well, hello, Tua. Thank you
Wow.
for joining us.
Wow, welcome.
Tua's awesome. Actually, she interviewed me for a Instagram show that she does, and Tua is awesome. Y'all should definitely check out her social media. She's really kind person, and viewing us from India, which is awesome. Bringing the world together, Stephen. Look at you.
Wow.
World peace, one astronomer at a time through Stephen Hummel. Ricky, the double cluster is up, but maybe not high enough. We might be able to hit it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
it's a little early for it, but
It
I mean,
is,
we can only get one of the two.
Yeah,
Even
probably
if-
what 869.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, it's up, but it's too low at the moment.
Yeah,
We wouldn't use the full aperture of the telescope. Not that we would need it, honestly, but
that's right. Yeah, it's just a star cluster, but
Mhm.
we're definitely using every inch of that telescope with this object right here, and this is Stephan's quintet, correct?
that is correct.
Awesome, dude. So I kind of want to do like a trivia question that a mutual friend of mine and Bram and Joe, I think knows Brandon Hamill, and I think maybe even Stephen may know Brandon Hamill. I'm not sure, but maybe not. He comes to Texas Star Party a lot. I met him through Bram, I believe, and just met Brandon. Sorry, at Texas Star Party, I believe it was. We were up at Jimmy Lowry's 48-inch, looking at this exact object here, Stephan's quintet. And so, without Googling it, y'all, I mean, you can cheat if you want to, but I'd kind of like to see if there's anybody out there that knows, because Brandon posed a question to us while we were reviewing this, and it was, what movie, classic film from, bygone eras, what movie starts with Stephan's quintet as like the very first shot of the film?
I know this. I think
You do? Yeah. I thought you would. This is an
it's
awesome piece of trivia too.
Is it a Monty Python film? No.
No, but it should be.
Okay.
It should be because it's a classic film. Like, if you were going to rank all the
I know
films in the world,
I know it's that Christmas movie. It's not actually. It's a Wonderful Life.
that's right.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wow.
oh, look at this. James says, "Boom." Because we're on a delay, so they do have a kind of a deficiency there where they can't quite participate on time.
Yeah.
But there it is. Stephen got it, and James got it. I don't know if you remember that, Bram, or not, but that stuck with me because I was like, "That's cool, man." Because go watch "It's a Wonderful Life," and the very opening shot is this exact cluster, probably one of the first images of the sky that was taken, especially of this area. And I don't know who took that image that they did. It could have very well been Mount Wilson for the day. I mean, when did that movie come out? It was like 1940.
40s. It was in the 40s. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, it may have been Wilson or Lick or Palomar would have been.
Palomar. Yeah, Palomar. You're right. Yeah,
I think it could have been not the Hale or not the big one at Palomar, but the one of their smaller ones.
Yeah, or it could have been the Hale, the 60-inch at Mount Wilson, because there's the Hale or whatever they call it, and then the Hooker, which is the 100-inch.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of options there. All those scopes were running in those days, so it could have been any of those. But yeah, very cool. And there's the image. I think it was the the movie kind of used them as a group of angels or something.
Yeah,
they were
and they
like-
like talk or something.
They would
That's
light
pretty
up
good.
when they were talking, be like, "Oh well, you know, blah blah blah," and then, "Oh,
Wait, why don't you bring that image up and we can compare the quality of it to
There
what
you
we
go.
have here?
Okay, let's see if I can find "It's a Wonderful Life" on YouTube here.
Now I still can't see you guys because if I do, then it'll wash out this view. But when it's up, I'll pause this exposure.
Okay.
Well, I was going to go with Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, but glad I didn't have to answer that question, the trivia question.
Okay, I got it. Give me 1 second to make it. Good grief! There's so many buttons to push here.
You think you got a lot of buttons?
I know you got 10 more than I do. At least 10 more. Okay, do we have it? We do have it. What I'll do is I'll zoom in a little bit here.
All right, I'm
So
pausing that.
The
So
movie
it's-
is opening. You know, this is sort of the opening of the film, and it's like people praying for this particular character. I forget. I've never actually seen "It's a Wonderful Life" in its entirety. It just randomly and on the background at my mom's house, it would be on. You know, there's the moon getting in the way like always.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And so
So-
now they're like, "Hello, Joseph. Hey, what's up? How you doing?"
But look at the level of detail in there and
Yeah.
compare it to what we're getting live.
So how many do we have here? I see 1, 2. That galaxy talking is obviously 2 galaxies. We got one
Yeah.
right there,
3.
and then that poor oddball out to the left doesn't even get one line in this whole thing. It doesn't look
Right.
like
He's just standing there. It's an ABC conversation.
he
He's
probably
seen
wasn't
himself out of
even. Yeah, he probably wasn't even a paid extra or anything.
it. He got to eat at the craft line though. Yeah.
Yeah, he got cast by. Oh, now that star, that foreground star, is going to jump into the conversation.
Oh.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, no, is that a galaxy? I don't.
I don't know.
What's way is the image oriented here, Steven? Can you tell?
It's flipped around.
It is
my,
flipped.
my
Okay.
camera is kind of cockeyed too, so I don't know. No, I don't know. I guess that star is like, yeah, it's
Let's get uranometria.
That little foreground star is like the guy they're petitioning to go mess with this human for no reason.
maybe they added that in. I don't know.
Oh, you think so? Or maybe
my
the star
screen's so
exploded.
dim. Maybe. So it's just to the left of the big one. I guess it's.
And there's that one
Okay.
perturbed galaxy that's. They're like, sit down, and he's like, sit down where? I'm a foreground star in an image. What do you expect me to sit down, kid?
All right, yeah. Bring mine back up, and we'll
Okay.
Compare. So
Okay, yeah. So they did add that in, huh?
Yeah.
I think they added it. Yeah, it's supposed to be like kind of right around here-ish, but I don't think that star's not bright enough to be what they did.
No, they added that guy in. That guy's not even real. So, wow. There you
We
go.
got a 6th member up here. This little guy.
Steven Sextet then?
Yeah, it should be.
But I don't think Stefan saw that one, probably.
No, that's kind of not part of it. I don't know. The main group here.
We had a
All
lot
right.
of good guesses, though. Forbidden Planet. I didn't know
Oh,
anybody had
yeah.
actually ever seen that film. I thought it was that was a horrible film. It's even even worse Broadway production or off Broadway. I don't even know. It's just a horrible thing. Forbidden Planet. Snyder says It's a Wonderful Life. There you go. But he says, I'm not sure. It's the only movie I can think of with a star. Yeah, and I mean, like there's other movies that kind of go that direction, but I thought it is a pretty cool piece of trivia, for that particular object because it was used as such an old movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and what's funny is did most Americans or even humans that were watching that even know that that image was real? That was a
Yeah.
real image of galaxies. They could have just thought, oh, somebody did a sketch of something and just put it up there and, or manipulating it, because normal people in the audience watching a Christmas movie in the 40s had no idea those were galaxies, outside of our own Milky Way. That notion never even came up. But
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah. We got any other requests? I know there's I haven't been looking at the comments lately.
Yeah,
Anyone see any?
there were some. Let me scroll back here. There's a lot of comments coming in. Again, I am missing out on some, so I apologize for that.
I think the fact that we knew galaxies were, things beyond our own galaxy was only a couple decades old at that point.
Mm.
Would have been a pretty new concept. At least that was confirmed.
Right.
You know what we could do, though, before we go on to another one, we could, since we do, like to look at distances.
I've seen requests for the owl. Owl is not up right now. Well, it is, but it's like just grazing the horizon.
What NGC is this again, Stephen?
Geez, I don't know. I just searched Stefan's quintet.
I don't think that's coming up in Sky Safari. Or wait, well,
NGC 7320 is the
That
brightest member.
okay, 7320. Yep, there it is. I don't know how to spell Stefan's quintet.
Is it PH or an F? Yeah.
It's all of the above.
Right.
And that is extremely close, by the way, to the object we were on last.
Mhm.
Which, and again, this group of galaxies is 50 million light years away. So these are the exact same distance as that massive spiral. Am I reading that right here? Yeah.
So, yeah, these. So one
Way
of the
smaller.
Yeah, one of them, the big one, is in the foreground, and the others are behind it. So that it's a chance alignment.
Yeah.
This one is like, yeah,
That's the
50-ish.
closest one. Yeah, you're right. That's the
Yeah.
47 million light years, and then you've got
These are like 200 or 300. You can see all their long tidal
300.
streams.
Yeah, 300. So yeah, that little bitty galaxy up and to the left is the same distance as that big spiral we just saw a minute ago.
Yeah, this one just happens to be small.
They're the same distance, y'all. But that one galaxy is this big. This little galaxy is like wee little guy. And then, but these other galaxies, like to the bottom right of what you see in Stephen's image here, those galaxies are 300 million light years away. So
Yep.
they're 10 times further, or whatever the math is there. They're just completely on the other side of the universe. But it looks like, because of positioning, that they're right on top of each other. But that's incredible. What's that? I wonder what that little guy is, that little outlier way up there. That's NGC 7320C.
The one at the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy.
290 million light years.
there.
So it's the same size as those bottom two ARP style galaxies on the right hand side. It's just so much smaller.
Yeah. Someone's asked, what's my favorite object to look at right now? Saturn. We looked at it.
You already did it, yeah.
A favorite deep sky object. I already did the ring. I really like the ring.
Ring's beautiful, yeah.
Jeez, I don't know.
Brandon wants to know if there's any space couches.
There you go.
There could be. We saw
Is
a guy on a space cell phone earlier.
I was going to say, is M13 too far away before it sets in the west?
No, we can
It's
do that.
classic.
We could also. There's also 22 and lots of other globs, but we can do 13. We haven't done a good glob. We did one wimpy glob.
Yeah, that I was going to say. We've got to get globs there. Chance to shine here.
Got to represent.
There you go.
Yeah, and if you guys do have some object suggestions, throw them in. I mean, we'll be able to tell you if it's up or not. And hey, that's what we like to do here, is just to kind of have fun and scan across the sky with a telescope that mount is way too fast on.
Yeah, his mount's already there. Just dome is.
Space couch.
Yeah, we could do the blinking planetary. We could do that next.
Oh, the blinking planet. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of couch talk. Antonio wants to know, is the couch auction started? We could auction off a couch. Bram, you got an extra couch you want to get rid of? Maybe.
Not at this moment, no.
Okay. All right. Well, Joe, you got a couch you need to get off your hands?
I live in the loop here in Houston, so I'm sure I can find one on a street corner somewhere. So
Cody brings up the existential questions. How did we get here?
So
I'm inferring that as the actual question that he's asking there, not like how he got to this particular live stream, which was usually a smartphone or a computer of some kind. You clicked a link and you ended up here, but I was thinking more along the existential lines. And
See, I was thinking of the whole couch conversation. How did we get there, right?
That's true. How did we get there? I think it was because the angel galaxies asked that other foreground star to sit down, and and there was clearly no furniture.
All right, we got a lot of requests of different things.
We're getting requests.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
All right, wait. So next up is the blinking planetary. We already did the eagle.
Random Messier number and go.
51's too low.
Helix we did. I think it's
No,
too
we can't.
low.
No, we can do that now. It's probably high enough. All right.
Oh,
so
okay.
blinking. I don't know what 6946 is. Someone look that up.
6946. Okay. Hey Google.
92. We could do 92. I think.
you need blinking
Fireworks. Yeah.
It's 6826.
6826 is blinking. Yeah.
We got that. That's next. All right. So this is M13. You can count the stars. I'll give you a few seconds.
Yeah. And is that a pocket of dust down there, or is that just a gap in the stars? I feel
What
like
are you looking at?
down maybe 4:30.
Yeah.
5
Oh
o'clock.
yeah, I do see that. Yeah.
It's just a little gap of nothing, or there's
Yeah.
something down there hanging out. But James says, isn't the notion of other galaxies only decades old at that point? Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they were calling them spiral nebulae before they were galaxies, and so yeah, there was a point where people didn't even know that, everyone thought that we were all in the same sort of thing, which clearly is not the case.
Well, we're all in this together, so.
Yeah, we are. As a universe, we're all neighbors. But Kailash says, "Hey guys."
Hey, Kailash.
And
What's
then
up, Fish?
there was another question there. Oh yeah. Well, where'd it go? All the comments are getting moved around for me. M57. Did you already look at it? Yes, we did. And that was pretty early, or a little while ago, actually.
Kailash, by the way, is, if it's the right Kailash, our outreach chairperson for the Houston Astronomical Society. So
Yeah, I know Kailash. Pretty sure. Came to a TSP, correct?
he sure did.
Yeah, with
It's our buddy Sarah.
Sarah Silva. Yeah. If that's the right one,
Don't want to assume, but
more than likely, maybe.
yeah.
Man, this is a beautiful planetary nebula here.
Oh, Lloyd.
Lloyd Overcash is in here. Okay, there he is.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So
We did M27
blinking
earlier
plan.
too.
We did that. We did the. Let's see. The request was the fireworks galaxy. It's a good one.
Yep. And which one is this, Stephen? Before we
Blinking plan.
Oh, the blinking planetary. Which in this aperture it will never blink.
I was
No,
gonna say
no.
it's not gonna blink here.
It's the unblinking eye in this case.
It is the non-blinking planetary. But Kalish says, "Hola."
He
Yes.
texted me and said, "It's me."
It is I. He says.
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome. Good to have you, Kalish. Brian says, "Very cool live, guys. Keep up the great work from Fort Worth." Well, thank you, Brian. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And I'm really we're really just here for Stephen because
Guinea
You
pigs.
guys are so helpful, especially as I fiddle around with settings and stuff. And
you're like, man, we're really not filling this planetary nebula here. You better take this one off your program because this object that only 1/10 of the population of the world has ever seen is kind of boring. So just think about think about all the lives of human lives that have lived on this planet, that came and went, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, everyone that came before us, right? Never saw a planetary nebula. More than likely, maybe they, who knows what was going on in the sky before that, right? With M1, the Crab Nebula being born at a certain point, but still, they probably never saw any of this stuff. They never saw the moon in the detail that we've seen it, and so this is something that we kind of take for granted. I think our ability to bring in these ancient photons, and you got to have insane equipment to do this kind of stuff. I mean, you can get it done with meager equipment, but you're not going to get the clarity and sharpness that Stephen is able to bring out in these objects. You need a high mountain. You need research grade optics that are collimated and tight and awesome. You need good cameras, and then the knowledge to know exactly what buttons to push. Because as you can see on Stephen's screen, there's at least 50 places you can click right now,
Yeah.
and 10 of them are wrong.
Yeah, blow the image up altogether.
Or just shut the computer down and reformat the hard drive. You never know.
Yeah, there you go.
Reformat.
What am I supposed to do? This slew it into the wall, which is always fun. I'm missing so many comments. This is hilarious. This is my bad. I apologize. I'm missing all these comments. Kaish says, thank you. We appreciate you, Kaish. Brad says, hey, Will, just got a DJI Mavic Air 2 drone. We'll bring the TSP next year. Good. Brad, bring a radio because I'd like to start a grassroots movement at Texas Star Party and other star parties that if you're going to fly a drone, at least be on a radio that everybody is on. Maybe there's a common advisory frequency, like in actual aviation. So then we can say we can each get on the frequency, channel 9 or whatever. I don't care what it is. We'll figure it out. But then if you're flying and I'm on the frequency and I want to fly, I know you're up there because you're saying you are, right? And then we won't run into each other because I've literally almost been run into at Texas Star Party by someone who wasn't paying attention. So let's try that and see if it works. It probably won't, but we can try it. This is the fireworks, huh?
Yeah, yep. So we got the moon starting to come up. So I wanted to get this fainter stuff in here.
Yeah.
And
This
then
is
we can
beautiful,
go to some of the brighter things. I saw someone request Neptune. We can do that.
Yeah.
Just have low expectations.
Look at this blue orb.
Yeah, it's not even going to... I guess I could switch back to the color camera, but yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to be just an orb.
Yeah.
Look at this galaxy has always been, because, when I first did this visually, this is exactly what I saw. I was like, oh, the fireworks galaxy, this thing's going to be legit. Like, I'm going to look at this and be like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
But before you brought up X there, or brought up from the bottom end to the left, whatever, that's about what you see. It's barely above the background sky, this galaxy. And even in scopes like Bram and ours 20-inch, or better scopes, this thing is an underperformer galaxy. But they call it the fireworks galaxy for an interesting reason. Stephen, why don't you let us know what that is?
It has a very high rate of supernovae and explosions. So every now and then, every few years or so, a star will blow up in this galaxy, and we'd see it as a little dot. Basically, it looked like a star, but that's why it's basically a cosmic fireworks. It's a great reason. So yeah, it is a very low contrast object, especially because we're viewing it through our own galaxy, through the plane of the Milky Way. And that's part of why it's kind of a low contrast object. It's one of the few galaxies we can actually see that's within the plane of the Milky Way in the sky, but it isn't completely obscured. It's only partly obscured.
Now, like I said, I've seen this galaxy multiple times in either my 12-inch or my 22-inch telescopes. And I remember that one time for sure, I believe it was at Texas Star Party that I looked at it, and there was an active supernova in it at that time.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't remember what year that was, but every couple years, really,
That's
this
incredible.
galaxy gets, which if you think about galactic timescales, this is like 14 every billionth of a second. It's like constant explosions. Like this is the Michael Bay galaxy essentially here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just constant
what was it?
explosions. No plot.
I read somewhere, I think it was every 50 years or so, a galaxy the size of the Milky Way has a supernova or so. Is that, am I off there?
This seems right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is about right for us, which means we're way overdue.
Yeah.
And it could be that there are supernovae in our own galaxy, but they're on the other side, and for whatever reason we can't see it. But that's about right. It's kind of typical. So for this to have one every 5-10 years or so is way above average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, I don't remember how many I've seen in this. I think it's probably only one. And I remember when I was looking at the galaxy with the supernova in, and I was like, wow, it's in the fireworks sky. And you know what? I think it's in one of my TSP videos. I just don't remember which year. I actually imaged the supernova. So it had to be like 2016 or 17 or something like that, maybe even 15. But we're hoping for another one soon. I mean, obviously, we get them in all the other galaxies, though, all the time. M64, I think we just had a supernova in, and a couple of other ones that M80 something or other, M82 or M84, I don't know, one of the M80s. But we get these things, like Joe said, quite often. It was just pretty cool because, you're seeing a star explode in another galaxy.
Yeah.
And this happened however many millions of light years thing is away.
Yeah, right. Yep.
It happened back then. And there's Neptune.
Yeah, you actually were able to guess what it is.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one Titan, isn't there? I mean, what is it? No, sorry.
Triton. Yeah.
Triton. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it started with a T, so I just went for, the thing.
Yeah. I'm just for giggles, I'm going to increase the exposure a lot and see if we can pick out any other moons. I don't
There's
know if I've ever done
something up to the right. I don't know what that is.
that.
A quick question from Enrique. What is the latitude at the McD Observatory?
30 degrees, 40 minutes.
That's a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
40 minutes. Yep.
So it's an interesting thing, Will. Somebody else earlier asked about telescopes for planetary observing. The reality is, for most of us, Jupiter and Saturn, maybe Venus, and that's it, right?
Yeah. And sometimes Mercury, if you can catch it like on the horizon, like, oh, is that little faint? No, it's set,
Yeah. Mars every, was it 22 months or whatnot? You might get a chance to see it, but
and the meme tells me that Mars is supposed to be bigger than the moon.
Oh, really?
So I believe, I am one of those that believe everything I read and see online, even if it contradicts each other. Somehow, I still believe in both.
Right.
I don't even know how that works. That's awesome, dude. Like that's amazing. I don't know that. I think that thing up and to the right, maybe just a background star or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Or maybe that's the moon, and the background star is that bright thing, and we're that lucky. I don't know. But probably we're not.
I think it's Triton.
Yeah. Samuel has a great question, and it's something that I've often done to myself. Can you point to a faint dot and make me believe I'm looking at Pluto? Yeah.
Sure, I guess we can do that.
That little that background star is Pluto right there.
That's Pluto.
That's it, right.
Yeah, look at that.
I will actually point to it, but
You're gonna actually point to? Oh, dude, this is epic. I don't think anybody's ever streamed Pluto before live.
I don't know, maybe, but not many people for sure.
And if they did, we're just gonna pretend like they didn't.
Sure. I didn't see it, so.
Zachary says, how many people do amateur radio astronomy? Probably, Zachary, more than you would think, more than I would think, probably. There's a lot of people who do amateur radio astronomy. There's a lot you can do. You can listen to Jupiter with just a simple AM, FM radio. Really,
Yeah,
AM.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
And radio meteors is pretty fun too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That background star, by the way, when we were on Neptune, has a really long USNO designation. So,
All right.
we know what we'll get. That's Pluto right there, though.
I guess. I don't know. See, the thing is, Pluto is in the plane of the Milky Way right now.
Yeah.
Which makes it really hard because there's just so many stars in this area of the sky.
I'm looking, and it's that lower dot. Okay, so do you see the 2 million? That's it, because it's right below a bright star and a faint one to the left. So that dot right there is Pluto, according to Sky Safari and the resolution that I have. Now there should be an asterism down and to the right, maybe, if this is correct. Like a swoosh of stars. There it is, right there. See it right there.
Yeah.
That little swoosh. That is Pluto. 1,000%. We've confirmed the existence of
Wow.
a dwarf planet. Everybody.
So can we make things up and say that's Sharon?
Yes,
That's correct.
that is Sharon.
Sure. Yeah, whatever.
Sharon!
It's definitely not.
Sharon!
Way too
Yeah.
later.
Sharon. Anybody remember Ozzy Osbourne and his television show?
Oh
back
yeah.
then? Yeah.
Series. So can we
Sharon.
do?
Can we do Ceres? Joe Richards wants to know. Ceres is if we're doing Pluto, there is no doubt in my mind Ceres would be
Oh,
visible.
Yeah.
There's times when Ceres is visible almost naked eye. Sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like it gets up to like 6 magnitude.
Yeah, I think I took a picture of it with an iPhone one time, and it was near a cluster of stars. It was so easily visible. Yeah, Ceres is up. It's in Aquila, or no,
Oh my god, doesn't have my software doesn't have it.
Aquarius. Oh, do you need the RA and deck? Because I can give you that.
I hope not, but maybe.
Oh wait, your altitude azimuth. I have that too.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, okay, so azimuth 154 degrees,
Hold on. Let me. All right,
but it's changing.
that's right. Do RA deck.
Okay, right, 22 hours, 46 minutes,
22.
22:46, and then I lost it. Declination negative 24 degrees, 29 seconds. 29 minutes, 38 seconds. I'm sorry.
Yeah. 29.6.
All right, you said negative 29,
I'm sorry, negative 24
Negative
degrees,
24.
24.
29 minutes, 38 seconds. That should get us in the ballpark.
Yeah. What were the seconds for right ascension?
The 0. It's 0.24 seconds. I mean, that's way too.
Yeah. Okay.
You can get there from 0 seconds, I think. So yeah, 22 hours, 46 minutes.
All right. Off we go.
Isn't latitude and longitude in space fun, y'all? Like GPS for the sky. Which guy? Travis says, you guys are seriously awesome, but I need to get rest so that he can continue to work on Starlink satellites. Have to figure out how to turn a pad around in a week so that we can black your views faster. Night, y'all. Well, how nice of him.
Oh,
They're really working hard at SpaceX over there to make our lives fun. It's good seeing you, Travis. Of course, that's all. I know probably somebody out there is like, man, this guy really is like the Starlink guy. You know, Travis does some really cool stuff at SpaceX. And he told me that he's going to give me an awesome behind-the-scenes tour, like next week or whatever, whenever I come out there. So, again, thanks, Travis, for volunteering that, even though you never did. Uh-oh, did we miss?
I don't know. Maybe. Could have mistyped it.
Series should have, it's the dot with the crosshairs there. It should have 2 stars down and to the right of it. I think that's the correct orientation. Yeah, that's basically the correct orientation here.
Okay.
And I don't see that asterism anywhere.
I don't either.
Yeah, maybe not.
Jesus, we probably will go back to Saturn eventually. It's probably to cap it off, I bet you.
I have to switch setups again, but
yeah, exactly. We'll talk to the man himself whenever that time comes, for sure.
Yeah, Mars is working its way up, but I want to get Mars, but it's going to be a while.
Yeah, Mars would be cool since we're near opposition. And I don't know if y'all missed it last night, but the moon and Mars were 40 seconds apart last night, which was pretty awesome. All right, 40 minutes. I'm sorry. 40 minutes.
Which is pretty close.
Less than a degree, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, in the southern hemisphere, they got a
that's right.
rotation.
In like Peru, yeah. If you were down in Southern America somewhere, I guess, or Colombia even, somewhere down there on a part of a globe that I never look at. If you were down there, the moon would have actually gone over Mars and occulted it, is what we call it, which is a pretty amazing thing. I've seen Venus get occulted by the moon, and that was amazing.
So for reference, for those people who don't know, a degree is about the width of your pinky extended at arm's length and how much sky it covers. So less than that is how close Mars and the moon were. So
yeah.
And I missed it. I didn't.
Yeah. It was cloudy here too, but I saw it. I was looking up something. I was trying to get back to my buddy Mark on when I'm going to try to meet him out at the X Bar Ranch or whatever. And I was looking at it and I was like, man, I couldn't even see Mars because the moon and Mars were that close in the
That
software.
close.
I was like, how did I miss this? And then I zoomed in. And I was like, oh. So
The only reason I knew about it is because you posted something on social media. So
yeah. And it was cool because I started seeing, other people that had probably not saw my post, but just went out and was like, whoa, what the heck, and started taking pictures of it. And so it was cool. I had some people that were like, dude, I figured out what it was because of your post. So that's always fun.
nice.
You never know who's going to help, guys. Even if you know the name of one crater on the moon and you take a picture of it with your phone, post that on social media and tell people what the name of that crater is, because they could have been, thinking about that crater oddly, or they didn't know craters had names, and you educated them in that one little thing. That's what we always try to get across here, man, is that you can really change people's life with this stuff.
Astronomy is one of those areas where I don't think I've run across anybody who just didn't have an interest in it, right? Everybody seems to, anytime you mention something or bring up a fact about space or something that's up there, everybody seems to be really fascinated by it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. And or at some level anyway, where it'll wow them. When you see Saturn in a telescope, it's impossible not to be like, wow. It really is.
All right, I'm giving up on minor planets because I don't want to deal with coordinates.
You're like, maybe the right ascension and declination is off by a half a degree here.
Yeah, it doesn't have it in the database by default, and I have to add it. And
hey, there's the helix is right there though.
That's why I'm trying to go there right now. Unfortunately, I'm not seeming to get anything right now.
7293.
Yeah, hold on.
Tim says, thanks for the Astro Fix, gents. I'm logging off from Houston. Have a great night, Tim.
Have a good one, Tim.
Good to see you, man.
Our good friend from Greater Heights Astronomy.
That's right. Yeah, he's got a great guys. Definitely should follow Tim. He does great content, post stuff like I do, and like everybody does. And what we each miss, we each make up and kind of pick up each other's slack. It's a great community online. Tim's a good part of that for sure. Kurt says, thank you from this newbie. I look forward to watching and learning more in the future. Well, cool, Kurt. We're glad we could help, push you down the road that much further. That's what we like here. Have a good one, Joe. Good to see you as always. Heather says, I've been trying to find a live stream of Mars and Jupiter tonight for my daughter. Does anyone know of any? And if they've gave us a little view here. Well, we did look at Jupiter earlier tonight, and we probably will go back to it, Heather. So don't tune out just yet. We're kind of we're looking for some fainter objects right now while we still have dark skies. Now the moon is coming up where Stephen is at. Well, I guess wherever you're at.
It's up, yeah.
Yeah, wherever you're at, the moon is up basically, unless it's daytime. But that is going to start diminishing our views of deep sky stuff. And then as we kind of wind it down here in a little bit, we'll definitely probably, go back over to planets and make fun of Bram a little more. Who knows?
That's the plan. Yeah, this is the helix barely coming through here. Bring out more detail, but it's going to be tough with this bright moon up now.
That's right.
And to make matters worse, my filter wheel is not going to the correct filter, but it's because of a driver issue. Fun things.
Good old ASCOM.
Anyway, yeah, good old ASCOM being confused. But that's the helix. It's really big, right? I can't fit the whole thing in my field of view. But you can see that there's two kind of circles. There's one here kind of tracing off the field of view, and then there's another one over here. Very large, very faint, eye-like object.
Yeah, not much like a helix. I never really saw a helix in there.
Yeah, I mean,
but the Eye of Sauron, I think, has been one that's come up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Beautiful object, though.
Amazing. And it's another planetary nebula for those of y'all that aren't, too hip on the lingo. The thing with the lingo is you really have to see this stuff and hear these terms dozens of times before it's going to start making sense. because the word planetary nebula sounds like planet, but it has nothing to do with planets at all. You know, it's a star, a dead star. A planetary nebula is, or a dying star, whereas a planet, as we know, is a byproduct of star formation. Right? They're two totally different things, but these objects do have the moniker planetary nebula because of ancient astronomers thinking that they had something to do with planetary type stuff, which obviously they did not. So there it is. That's a little thing about planetary nebulas. But cool fact about planetary is our sun will become one day. Don't wait up.
A few billion years off. Yeah.
It's going to be a minute, or two, a New York minute, or the opposite of a New York minute, which is like an LA hour. I don't know. Anyway,
an Abilene hour, right? Yeah.
An Abilene hour. Yeah, it's going to be a long time. But then, eventually we will look something similar to the Helix Nebula to someone else.
Yeah.
We don't want to be here for that, I don't think.
No.
We'll get to some comments while we're in between things here. Ghost Roach, which I love that name. That's hilarious. There's so many. I've killed so many roaches that I feel like I've made some ghost roaches before. Every time I watch you guys, I'm completely blown away. Outstanding experience each and every time. Well, thank you, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate you watching and hanging out with us. All of y'all that are watching and sharing the feeds on your personal Facebooks, on groups and stuff, we appreciate that because that helps us bring these objects to more and more people across all these platforms. We're broadcasting right now on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, multiple places on Facebook. And it's just a lot of fun. Stephen, the guy above me right here, way out in West Texas, further than anyone should ever have to drive anywhere. That's where he is, out on a mountain with no one around except there's mountain lions out
Coyotes.
there. There's probably bears, coyotes, badgers, javelina, gators for some reason. There's not. And then you've got Joe and my buddy Bram here in Houston. So we're all kind of spread out all over Texas, but we do these for fun. We do these to mess around. We do these so that Stephen can experiment on us.
Yeah.
Really, we're his guinea pigs. So, which is there's nothing wrong with that. Brad says I can see Neptune under a streetlight in South Austin. There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Mars is rising, as Bram brings up. Although Mars is pretty low. They're pretty spread out, these planets, right now. But believe it or not, they are pretty close together in the grand scheme of things. Let's see. I'm way behind on these comments here. Oof. These were like an hour ago, it seems like. Snyder says, blame Travis for Starlink. Absolutely. We do, even though it isn't really his fault. Snyder says, I spent a year in Killeen. Yeah, Killeen, what, Central Texas? Yeah. Armadillos. Those are definitely out at the McDonald Observatory, I think. Yeah. They definitely have armadillos out there, I would assume.
Rattlesnakes?
Yeah, they have rattlesnakes.
I recently saw a porcupine for the first time.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Those are, you don't want to pet those.
No.
Or run them over. I mean, I remember coming home one time from West Texas from a star party, and I had quills in the side of my truck in my Tundra. I had like 3 or 4 big quills in there. Now I remember seeing the porcupine. It was like, I think it was in like Kerrville or something, and I gently kind of swerved out of the way. I was nowhere near it, so I was like, how did I get quills in the tire?
Wow.
And they were just barely stuck in there. It was the craziest thing because I was like kind of freaked out to pull them out. I'm like, can they stab you all the different ways? Like, am I going to get I was like,
how many sharp points are there, right? Yeah.
Just universally sharp. You just grab it and your hand falls off.
Right.
All right, we're back with Saturn.
There we go.
Does that focus look pretty good? I think it's good.
I don't think that was a Call of Duty reference, Kalish. If one of us might have made one, I don't remember, but yeah. Bob says, this will satisfy my star party fix for a bit. Thanks for doing this. It's so awesome. Well, great, Bob. I mean, I'm glad we could do that for you. And there's no Okie Tex this year, as everyone on this panel, well, Stephen, I don't think has ever been to Okie Tex, but I know that he mourns with us
Yes.
that we're all losing our star parties and things like that. But that's that's the way it goes right now. We all have lost some kind of event that we all cherish, and that's one of them. Unfortunately, no, Christopher, we have not done that, and I don't think
Nope.
Uranus is up. Or
It's
is it?
right next to the moon, so it's very low.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if I'm going to stay up late enough to bother with it.
Yeah.
Oh, Saturn will be back in a moment. I'm just calibrating it.
Yeah.
It's saying that's where Saturn is for the mount, to be sure.
And recenter it. Yep.
All right.
Heather says, I can see Mars great right now in the sky. It's really incredible. I agree. It's not as big as a dinner plate as advertised on television, but it is really cool to see. When you look at Mars, you'll be like, that bright thing over there is severely red. That's because it is. It's severe. Oh, look, we got the shadow of Io.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
It's very obvious, too. Look at that.
I told y'all it was like a black hole. Look at it.
It does.
It's pulling all of Jupiter in from right there. Look at that. That is the shadow of one of the moons on the surface or on the cloud tops of Jupiter. Look at that. So somewhere in that, and I think I can see it, that little knot in the band that's down, there's a little white knot, and I bet that's Io in there.
Oh, yeah. It's
Am I seeing things?
A little past halfway across.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
almost halfway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah. Right there in that bottom band.
Yep, that's it.
Now, what is that other thing? Is that a barge or a festoon, or is that?
It looks like a barge, but no.
Let me move it around. Yeah. Okay. So it's not like a piece of
It's
dust.
not like a moat. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
a dust moat. So what is that?
Are you talking about the one on the left?
Yeah, the big bruise to the right. There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't know what that is.
I don't know.
It's a UFO, man.
There's this very bright ammonia storm here. It's very, very. The brightest part on Jupiter right now is this little thing.
Is that it right there? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Io is that thing up into the band. So yeah, no, to the right of that a little bit, right, to the left, right there. I think that's Io in there.
I think
be
that I think they're closer together. I'm not sure, but just because of its position, I thought. I don't know. I have the app open. Let me look it up.
I'm zooming in myself too.
Oh yeah, so it should be. You're right. It could be kind of.
Or wait, how is this image flipped here? Horizontal.
It's vertically flipped. I can flip it again here.
So Joe, I think you're right. I think it's a little bit more than halfway across. You know what's so weird though is I actually see, and I didn't know Sky Safari did this, but you can actually almost see that barge there. Is that is that a feature that is normally there on Jupiter? You guys see that? Let me turn.
It's been there for a while.
Yeah,
But
see it just to the right. I mean, like that's eerie. I've never seen that kind of prediction on Sky Safari, where it shows something other than the Great Red Spot. Really interesting. That could be happenstance because it is off severely.
Now, barges are usually darker areas, and I don't know if they're in the belts typically. Stephen, you may know.
They're usually outside.
Usually they're kind of like along the
along the belt,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And then you have festoons, which will
top,
bleed
right?
into the. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I think those are lower cloud tops. Am I correct on that? They're just the barges are just like sunken down clouds, sort of.
I'm not entirely sure, honestly.
Yeah, I don't
I'm not
know
a
for
Jupiter
sure.
expert by any means.
Either, yeah. I look at Jupiter and I'm like, okay, my scope's calibrated. Let's go.
Right.
Brad says Io. Yeah, if you're wondering how to spell Io, that's it. It's the easiest word in the world to spell because it literally spells itself. It's the only planet or the only moon that spells itself. That's hilarious.
That's true.
Io.
Io.
Now, there's the alternate pronunciation of Io, though, right?
Io, yeah. Which nobody says that
nobody
because
says
you're a weirdo if you say Io.
I guess that makes me a weirdo, but
Have y'all seen the moon Io?
Yo.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
right
corrected one time. I guess that's why
It's
I
right
still
next
use
to
it.
enchiladas. Yeah,
Right.
on Saturn. What's up, Imran? Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you in the house. Nicholas, what says that's awesome. I agree. this is really cool because what you're seeing here with the shadow kind of crossing over the the Jupiter surface is something you're only going to see for the next like what, hour and a half, 2 hours. And then literally Io goes barreling off to the right and, you know, pops out on the, what it looks like it just pops out of nowhere on Jupiter. And then the shadow will follow soon after and just go off into space. But I think Io's shadow is probably the most common you'll see. Maybe the other sometimes too, but
sometimes you get Europa. The others are pretty rare.
you get double shadow transits sometimes. I know a few months ago, maybe 6, 8, 10 months ago or a year ago, so there was double transits that were coming along. I think it was like you said, Stephen, Europa and Io, and you'd have 2 shadows going across Jupiter every other. It seemed like it was every other few weeks.
Yeah, it was cool for a bit.
It was Europa and Io transits or whatever, shadow transits, and I actually caught one of those one night, not really realizing I was just, you know, calibrated the scope, got it collimated, looking over at Jupiter, get a quick, you know, warm up the eye and get into the dark stuff, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? You know, there's two chunks of Jupiter missing there, you know, and a lot of times these shadows, your image scale is never usually going to be what Stephen has here. Your image scale is usually going to be a tiny Jupiter with 4 dots around it, the Galilean moons, and then a nice wide field of an eyepiece around it, unless you get high power, you know, in your telescope. So sometimes making out the shadow, the transit shadow can be a little bit less obvious than this. This is pretty, there's no mistaking what's going on here.
Yeah, and I was just looking at it. So that uppermost in this particular picture, belt about halfway across is where Io is right now.
Yeah. It's probably either that or that other kind of lump inside that belt.
Yeah.
There's a couple of lumps in there.
It's kind of blending in very well.
And there's no way you can zoom in a little more, Stephen, or
yeah, it's kind
let's go
of
ludicrous zoom.
Ludicrous zoom. There it is.
My God.
You're staring into the core of Io here.
Wide view of Jupiter I've ever seen.
And let's make it even bigger for the viewing audience.
Enhance.
Print the thing.
That's not very helpful. Is it?
Enhance. Yeah, we're down to the people now. But yeah, one of those lumps inside that belt, either that one or that one to the left, is going to be Io. And it just sort of is just out of the visual range. Now, if it was in a different place, maybe just a little bit off to the side of Jupiter, we might actually be able to resolve it. I know there's images out there, and maybe, you know, Stephen, maybe you should take like a quick little run of some data here.
Yeah.
Stack it later when you get bored tomorrow or the next few days and see if you can pull out a spherical Io.
Maybe.
Which is definitely doable. So when you typically look at Jupiter and the moons like this, you'll see the moons are just dots. They look like stars in your telescope because none of us have the aperture, really, besides Stephen Hummel here, to resolve this stuff into spherical stuff or get color on Io or like some of these, you know, astronomers say that you can do. It's definitely doable. But, you know, a lot of the time you'll just see those moons as pinpoints of light. But when the moons go across or they transit the surface of Jupiter like this, from our perspective, it your camera and maybe even your eye too, you know, the dynamic range is allowing us to see the surface of Jupiter because we've darkened it a bit here. You know, so that contrast between Io being on the quote surface of Jupiter in front of it to us actually helps you see detail in Io, which I've never been able to pull out visually, but I've seen people do it in pictures. So
yeah, I've seen it in pictures. I've seen detail in Ganymede visually because it's bigger.
Yeah,
Ganymede's just a larger object, only in the 82-inch.
And Ganymede, is Ganymede the silvery one, or is it the one that's brown and yellow?
Yeah,
and
it's kind of silvery brown and with some darker gray. It's grayish.
Yeah, it's
got one side that's kind of darker.
Grayish kind of a thing. It's brown. It's gray. It's gray. Whenever we're going to describe color in a telescope, guys, it's probably going to be like, yeah, it's a little bluish, and but it's gray. It's mostly gray.
It's great.
It's mostly gray. Yeah.
You know, the
Different
rod,
shades of grays. Yeah.
rods in my eyes are just it's gray. It's gray. Okay, it's gray. Cones are ineffective here. But no, the cones are actually what really come in handy when you're looking at Jupiter in a visual telescope. Because look, again, you will see these colors in Jupiter visually when you look through it. Even I think maybe even binoculars, you can make out the ruddy sort of
Oh, yeah.
band. And then the more you zoom in with a telescope or whatever, you'll definitely get the brown, sandy colors.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Well-
Terry. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, the nice thing is you don't need a huge telescope to be able to see some of these features, right?
No.
Right.
I mean, I remember my very first telescope that I had was like a 60 millimeter department store refractor. And I mean, you could certainly make out the bands and things like that, and even a cheapie, right? But yeah, you don't need much.
Yeah, you really don't.
Absolutely. I love this. Ghost says, gotta love getting paid to watch you guys, but I also have to work. We'll be watching again and again. Thanks for the amazement once again, Clay from PA. Well, thank you, Clay, for watching from all the way in PA. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And, you know, I need to apologize to everybody that might be commenting on my personal Facebook, because StreamYard does not grab those comments. So if you've been commenting on my personal Facebook page, then it's not like I've been trying to ignore you. We couldn't see you, so I apologize for that. But those comments do not show up, unfortunately. And Saul, this is a 20-inch telescope. So what we in the business, right? We like to call those the half-meter telescopes.
Yeah.
Because 40 inches is a meter, right? So 20 inches, Stephen's definitely in the half-meter club. I have a 22-inch telescope. I'm in the half-meter club. Bram has a 20-inch, so he's right at the half-meter club. What we should do is we should get shirts made up that say half-meter.
Yeah, half-meter club.
Half-meter club. Yeah, there you go.
Start a Facebook group, and you have to legitimately. So Joe is about to buy a Dobsonian.
Yes.
In the next few little while, and I think what we're basically convincing him here is that it's going to probably need to be a 20-inch, so that you can be a half-meter club.
Yeah. See, in my dilemma now is, do I buy something used, or just do I, bite the bullet and wait 8 months for a new one to get produced? So that's where I'm at right now. But I'm talking to somebody, so hopefully pretty soon I'll have a new one.
There you go.
A new used one, new to me though, right?
Yeah. But is it going to be in the half-meter range there?
It's 20-inch. Yeah.
20-inch. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So you're in the club, buddy.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. Bram's going to fund the shirts. That's a beautiful.
We got a little bit of a breeze in here now, but that's still a pretty good image of Saturn. Not quite as sharp as it was earlier.
Yeah, the wind
lower.
Yeah.
I'm also just touching the scope now, trying to focus a little more finely.
Snyder says size matters. Unfortunately, in telescopes, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you look at Saturn, okay, go get a Maxitov like Joe started out with, and look at Saturn. You'll see it. Cool. There it is. The rings.
Yeah.
Awesome. Just checking out Saturn. Go look at it in Bram's 20-inch now. Visually. So you go from a little bitty telescope to a big telescope. It scares you because of the image scale is bigger, the resolution is better,
the brightness.
Brightness is it's almost like looking into an LED flashlight, even on something like Saturn. So it really is. There's a term in astronomy, in amateur astronomy, called aperture fever, and it's a legitimate term, and it's there for a reason, because I went through it. I was borrowing a club telescope, an 8-inch. A friend of mine, Howard Miner, his wife had a 12-inch Meade light bridge, and she went to bed one night, and Howard was like, well, before I put it up, why don't you just grab the 12 and just point it around the sky? And I was like, from going from an 8-inch to a 12-inch, I was like, awesome. And I remember logging all kinds of Messiers on Jane's scope at the Hodges Garden Star Party. And that was when I really... This was in I think 2010 or maybe even 2011, but it was one of those 2 years. And that was when I really understood for the first time how much aperture really means in this game. And then because Howard Miner, my good friend, his wife has a 12-inch, but he has a 17.5-inch Coulter that he converted into basically like an Obsession clone. So it's breakable. It breaks down into parts and things. And going from the 12 to the 17.5 was like ridiculous, So from an 8 to a 12, you're like, wow. And from a 12 to a 17.5, you're like, whoa, and then you go up to somebody like Jimmy Lowry's 48 or Larry Mitchell's 36-inch Dobsonian, and it's like, and you really, really, really understand that there is no cure for aperture fever, none.
Bigger and bigger.
That's right.
There is a story of the Hobby Eberly telescope here. Back when it was built in the 90s, it's a 10-meter or about 394-inch telescope. Okay, it's huge. And when they were setting up the tracking assembly at the top where the light comes to focus, that when they first set it up, they had no idea where it was pointed, basically. And the field of view was really small and they couldn't figure it out. So someone actually went up on the top of the Hobby Eberly telescope and put their face at the focus point.
And did it focus though?
Yeah.
Could they see inside their pores with that telescope?
No, they could see the sky, it was like an immersive.
Which guy?
The sky. The sky at night. So I feel like although it wasn't with an eyepiece, they just kind of put their eye at the focal position.
Wow.
It's probably the largest telescope anyone has ever actually looked through.
Now you got me wanting to sneak out there.
I know, right?
I want to climb up to the focal point and be like,
yeah. The catch is, if you know how the Hobby Eberly telescope works, the focal plane where the light comes to focus moves. It's a moving assembly, so he's kind of literally riding it, which is just crazy to me. And totally insane.
Because that telescope can only move mechanically like this. The telescope
spin,
it can only spin around its axis. But it's such a huge telescope that, like he said, the secondary mirror can move and track the sky while the telescope is essentially sitting still. So it's kind of like Arecibo.
It is basically inspired by that, except it can move in one direction, and then every other direction with the top. So basically, it's like imagine you had the Dob, but you locked it at 55 degrees. And you can spin it around.
Yeah.
But you move the secondary mirror around to track something in the other direction.
Which has to be a spherical mirror.
Yes, there's a spherical mirror with a spherical set of mirrors at the top to correct for that operation.
Yeah. If you haven't, since the McDonald is kind of opening back up, at least make plans for 2021 to make it out there and check out the Hobby Eberly telescope, because all you have to do really is kind of drive up the mountain and kind of stand at the base of this thing and get a sense of the scale. But there's also a little visitor room that you can just kind of walk into. And I think it's open most of the time, right, Stephen, during the daylight hours? It's
not at the moment. All of the indoor areas are closed. But during normal operations, you can go in there.
Yeah, and you can kind of stand in the room. It's a windowed room, almost like a greenhouse in a building is kind of a weird way to describe it. Yeah. But you're standing inside the dome of the Hobby Eberly with the telescope right there in front of you. There's all kinds of infographic stuff around. And I think there's even a segment of the mirror in there, which is pretty darn cool. Because there's 90-something hexagonal mirror segments that are
91 meter.
They're all in the meter club, they're huge.
One is twice the aperture of the telescope we're using right here. Just one of the 91 of that telescope.
Exactly. So. And it's ridiculous, but you'll never see pretty pictures from that telescope because it's a scientific instrument, and they're doing spectra. They're doing the Hobby Eberly dark energy experiment is what they're still going forward with that, right, Stephen?
They made a lot of progress this year too.
Yeah.
Great weather, and we remained open. So, taking millions of spectra of distant galaxies, billions of light years away, to try to figure out why the universe is expanding.
So I actually got this in the mail just this week, actually, from the
that's
McDonald Observatory, from the Hobby Everly. I can't even speak right now. Hobby Everly telescope. So the dark energy experiment, the HET-DEX.
HET-DEX.
Yep.
So that came in this week. So really nice thing that I got from the McDonald Observatory. So thank you all.
That's awesome, man. I don't know why I didn't get one and why.
I don't even know what that was.
Well, so I was at the Board of Visitors meeting a few weekends ago. And so
Okay.
Bill Pellerin, who is one of the ex-presidents of the Houston Astronomical Society, is on the Board of Visitors, and he invited me to join some of the conversations they're having. Wonderful conversations, really great lectures by some of the astronomers there. And I wasn't expecting this, but this came in the mail, so I really appreciate it.
Oh,
That's
cool.
awesome, man. Yeah.
Well,
Nice little piece of data there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think we're almost to the point where we can get Mars.
Cool. Before we leave Saturn, guys, I want to, I always remember we always like to give you a little nugget of info with the visuals here.
Mm-hmm.
Saturn, right now, the light that's hitting Stephen's telescope left Saturn 77 minutes ago. That's what, an hour and 17 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Am I doing the math right there? So the light, the fastest thing in the universe, 186,000 miles per second. That's 7 times around the globe, around Earth, in 1 second. Okay. It still takes an hour and 17 minutes for the light to get from Saturn to Stephen's telescope.
Yeah, that's a long time.
8 minutes from that, because actually longer, because it takes 8 minutes to get from the sun to here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it would take, I would assume, 8 minutes plus an hour and 20 minutes, so an hour and a half, round trip essentially from the sun, and most of that journey is on the way back, which is, you could think of it 1,000 different ways probably.
Yeah.
But just think of it this way: like, this is what Saturn looked like an hour and 17 minutes ago. Yet we're viewing it right now.
And Jupiter would have been like half an hour or somewhere in that ballpark.
Right.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because Saturn is in kilometers. It's 1.3 billion kilometers away.
How about Neptune? Let's go back to Neptune with this setup, because we looked at it before with the other one. But let's go back to Neptune.
Our old friend Neptune. It's definitely my favorite outer planet because it conjures less jokes.
Yeah.
the other ice giant. Yeah.
Visually impressive, but
yeah, like look at Uranus. No, but we look at Neptune all the time.
That one, not great, just for the record.
So Neptune. Yeah. Neptune is 4.3 billion kilometers. Now, when it says 1,000 million, that's a billion, right? Yeah.
1,000 million's a billion, yeah.
4,327 million is 4.3 billion, I think.
So multiply by 0.62 and you get the number of miles, yeah.
Looks like I slightly missed it, which is going to be a pain to
find it. The thing that you're not looking at is 240 light minutes away.
Yeah, let me go to a bright star and calibrate on that.
So what is that? Let's see. 240 divided by 60 is 4 hours. The light that we're going to view from Neptune is 4 hours old.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Are my numbers correct on that?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Wow.
And when you get into relativity and all of that good stuff, it's really just amazing when they say if you're from the perspective of that photon, it basically traveled instantaneously.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, right. Time dilation and everything else, right?
I want to interview a photon though. That's what I want to do. Like, what inspired you to travel at right angles through our universe? What did you say, Bram? Sorry.
240 light minutes.
Yeah, 240. which is what, 4 hours?
6 hour. It's 4 hours. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, 240 by 60, I guess is.
Hey, getting back to the half-meter scopes, how many of you have seen the hexagons on the poles of Saturn?
I did the Friday, actually. The seeing was so good with this setup, I was able to do it.
Yeah, I was able to almost resolve it. I could see the dark area, but I will admit that I couldn't make out right angles, but I could easily see visually the the hat of Saturn, if you will. But I didn't see detail in it. Did you, Bram? I mean, have you seen detail in it? Like,
I have, yeah.
nice. Was that out at y'all's super secret dark sky site?
Yep.
Shh, we don't talk about it.
Yeah, the place shall not be named.
Oh, that is one thing. When I guess the question was asked a little while ago, what are some of the things that we haven't seen through our telescope we wish we have? I would say when you look at the rings of Saturn, there are what are they? The spokes.
The spokes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I haven't seen that I would love to see. So, and I know one of our members, Amelia Goldberg, has been able to see it, and a few others have as well, but haven't seen it. Would love to be able to do that.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah. That's on my bucket list.
Light bucket list.
My light bucket list. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what we should start calling it. Yeah, well, whatever.
Light bucket list. Yeah,
our light bucket list. I mean, because literally some of this stuff, you might get one night a year where it's possible.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like the spokes.
I'm not sure why it's looking so green right now, but that's Neptune.
That's Neptune. It's because
the green
the light
planet.
is 4 hours old.
You don't have a filter on it, do you?
No, I don't. I got no filters. But sometimes it just kind of glitches out and decides to be
weird
green.
Like Kermit the Frog. That's the Kermit the Frog Nebula. But yeah, Snyder says, 4 hours plus however many years that photon was born. So what I understand the photons that are leaving the sun now, or some of them anyway, were born millions of years ago.
Yes.
And it takes them millions and millions of years, maybe even tens and tens of millions of years to get from the core where they were born to the edge of the sun where they can be released at the speed of light. And I believe they call that the random walk, where it's a photon being absorbed by a particle, re-emitted, absorbed by another particle, emitted. And so sometimes they go back down towards the core, the kind of like Death Plinko,
Right.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of The Price is Right, but then sometimes they go the other way. I guess that maybe that has something to do with like Brownian motion or some kind of randomization. I don't know. I'm not a physicist here. I'm just a dude with a telescope.
Basically, yeah.
I don't even have a telescope right now. I'm just a dude with some friends, So, but yeah. So some of those photons that are hitting you tomorrow that are going to give you a sunburn while you're at the beach, were born millions and millions of years ago in the core of the sun. It took them forever to get out.
Why is it green? I don't know why it's green.
Maybe we're discovering something here, Stephen. Maybe the equipment, you should trust your equipment and just know that something is happening where methane has turned green in all of your little telescopes from here on out.
Let's go to Mars and see if Mars is green. How about that?
Oh, yeah. What better way to test it? 'Cause we all know that that's a red planet, right?
Right.
So Cheryl says yes. Essentially, so she asks, so if you saw something collide into Neptune right now and it was destroyed, we wouldn't know or see it until 4 hours from now. That's exactly right. So Cheryl, if we saw that happen, we would immediately assume it happened right now. But you're right; it would have happened 4 hours ago, and the light took that long to get here. If you turn the sun off right now, well, if it was daytime and you turn the sun off, you and I and everyone else would not know for 8 minutes. And that's the sun. The sun is right there.
That's
it's an interesting
Mars I've ever seen.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Really green this year.
Yeah, geez. So green.
The little green men that live on it, right?
Whoa, look at that.
That
look
is
at the
neat.
detail.
Pretty cool. The detail's cool, if only.
Is that an ice cap that you could make out there? Or?
On
Yeah,
the
on the
bottom.
bottom,
Down
right?
the bottom there. Yeah, there you go.
Why? Okay.
We're making ice caps on Mars. Is it the filter wheel, dude? Is it on the flip?
America.
Oh, there we
No,
go.
this has
Oh,
the on there.
wow.
I just had to change the
The filter.
yeah. Keep saying it. Yeah, it's still pretty low right now.
We'll just blame it on a filter forever, and
Sure.
even if
Travis's fault.
it's Travis's filter's fault. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you could definitely see the darker features of Mars there, even despite being very low, not using the whole aperture of the telescope.
Yeah.
But ice
that
cap down there.
That is definitely the ice cap.
Mhm.
Planum Australe is the area where that ice cap is down there at about 5 o'clock. And then the area that's facing us is called Terra Cimmeria, like cinnamon, but Terra Cimmeria. There's the whole sort of region there. And then that black area, it really doesn't have a name, but it's kind of like some lowlands that's in that Terra Cimmeria or whatever.
Wow.
It's really hard to. Now, there's another feature down there, Elysium Planitia. That's the brown area up and to the right, Stephen, at about 1 o'clock. Yeah,
Okay.
that's Elysium Planitia. Dude, this is all new to me. I don't ever observe Mars, especially in this detail.
I haven't observed Mars since the last opposition a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it? About 26 months between oppositions, I believe it is.
Just about.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, the last opposition, everybody's getting excited for it. It had been the closest, I think, since 2003.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden we had a global dust storm on Mars. And so a lot of these features were just completely washed out. It ended up being a dud.
That is so true, Joe. I forgot about that. It was so stupid because we were all like, "Yay, it's going to be beautiful." And
Yes.
it's the stupidest thing we've ever seen.
I mean, you couldn't make anything out. There you go.
And we see Bram changed his social media to the Derp Sky Dude. So
The Derp Sky dude. There you go.
I'm going to definitely sue him for copyright infringement there.
Artistic license, man.
Yeah. What do they call that? Fair use, right?
Fair use. Yep. But yeah, some of these darker features you just couldn't see at all, it was a big disappointment because again, closest I think opposition since 2003, I believe it was, and which the 2003 one was historic. I think it would 50,000 years or something until we would get something that Mars that close again.
Yeah.
But
That's
we
how the
couldn't
universe
make out.
does, man.
Yeah, we couldn't make any of these types of features out. So this is nice.
And thank you, Heather. We appreciate you hanging out with us, of course. And Cheryl says, we are looking at the past. Time travel is possible. Absolutely,
Yes.
Cheryl. I mean, the moon is a second away, a second and a half, really. So you're seeing the moon a second and a half into the past.
Yeah,
So-
but the interesting thing when you're talking about those supernova, in a galaxy that's 50 million light years away, the supernova that you're seeing, that star exploded 50 million years ago, right? That's the incredible thing about it.
Yeah. It's pretty strange when you think about it, but it kind of gives you a perspective of how large even our solar system is.
Mhm.
Yes.
And then, because we were looking at galaxies earlier, millions of light years away. And now we're looking at a planet that's, according to Sky Safari Pro, 4 light minutes away. Does that sound right to you guys? Because that sounds odd, like insanely close to me.
Yeah, that's right.
That's about right.
Usually
That
I
opposite.
remember it being like 10 light minutes away or so.
Yeah, no, that's about right.
It's getting closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're approaching opposition.
Yeah.
So.
Snyder says the iron on Mars turned to copper. And nobody knew about that.
Yeah.
I'm noticing the view is steadily getting slightly better as it gets higher in the sky, and you can definitely see the ice cap there on the bottom now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely smaller than a month ago because it's warming up on that hemisphere of Mars. It's turning into spring.
Yeah.
So the ice is sublimating, and that ice cap is shrinking.
Which is very sublime.
Yeah.
It's just sublime.
No, that's not water ice. That's methane, right? I say it like the cool people.
Nitrogen or
Nitrogen. Okay.
other things. There's water ice too. There's not a lot of it.
I think the that is a color image, Snyder. I just think it's maybe a little lower than. Of course, when you get Mars this big, it doesn't appear as red as it does sort of zoomed out.
That's right. A lot of people think Mars is going to look a lot more red than it actually does. But that's pretty close to how it would look in an eyepiece right there. It really is kind of just a slightly tan almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of ruddy, just and that's iron oxide, right? I mean, on the surface of the planet in various places, but then you get different areas which might have been discolored due to liquid water or just different mineral compositions or whatever the case may be. But you do get that differentiation in the surface texture, not quite like Jupiter or some of the others, but this is a solid rocky planet that we're looking at here. This isn't a gas giant, like Saturn or Neptune or Jupiter. This is a rocky planet. And so the fact that we're able to see that detail from here is pretty epic stuff.
Yeah. And Brad's right. He said CO2 and there's CO2 ices as well, dry ice.
CO2,
that's one of the more
dry
common
ice.
ones. Yeah.
That's where we get our dry ice for Halloween, correct? Is on Mars?
From Mars, yeah.
From Mars,
Opportunity sends it back, yeah.
Yeah. It's cheaper, believe it or not, it's cheaper to go to Mars and harvest it than it is to just cool down carbon dioxide here. Chris Murray says, very cool. Love the view. Thank you, man. We appreciate you. Stephen Hummel knows how to work a scope. That's for sure.
Yeah. Push buttons until it stops being green.
Why is it green? Yeah. So this, again, Mars is 0.4 AU, which is, half an AU or so, which is 93 million miles. So 70 million kilometers is what it says right now, which is, let's see, 70 million kilometers in miles.
So are you able to see how much of the surface is illuminated? Because, you can definitely see.
It was 93%, I think.
93%. Okay. Looks even less than that. I mean, that.
Yeah. Moon... I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah.
43 million miles.
Kilometers in miles.
So
are you able to see how much of the surface is illuminated?
I'm hearing myself. What's going on here?
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody's watching the feed. They're breaking the rules.
Less than that. Yeah. Who is that?
It's Bram. I know. I can hear him clicking.
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Yeah. Somebody's watching the feed. You're breaking the rules.
He awkwardly realizes it's him and he's like, "Oh, good. Yeah, what's up, derp sky dude? Yeah, puts the derp in it."
So 93%, huh? I mean, that looks less than. I know we're approaching opposition, but
93.4 is
okay.
Visual magnitude -2, which is insanely bright.
That is bright.
Yeah, it's bright. It's almost as bright as Jupiter.
So there's a picture somewhere that somebody made where they had Mars at, when it's way far away from us, and then they had taken pictures all the way. And it is astonishing how small it was and then how big it gets. And then, so this thing is just because it's further away from the sun than we are. So we sometimes are on the other side of the sun from Mars. So we're talking hundreds of millions of miles, impossible to get to. And that's why there's a window of when you can go to Mars,
right?
During these oppositions, which just means that Mars and the Earth are opposite the sun with each other. That's all it means, opposition, opposite the sun. But if you try to go to Mars when we're not at opposition or coming up to, we just went with Perseverance, right? We all know that Perseverance just launched. They're on their way to Mars right here where we're looking. If you launched that Perseverance rocket at the wrong time, there's not a rocket big enough that could get you to Mars. It's just not possible. Maybe with some like gravitational assists or something weird, but why would you do that? Save fuel and time and launch it right now and get to Mars while you can. And then so when Earth starts gaining on Mars, because we'll always go faster around the sun, eventually we're going to be super far away. And I think that's when we get to the 14 light minute round trip time, when it takes 14 minutes for a radio signal to get from Earth to Mars.
Or more than that sometimes.
Yeah, you kind of need a rover that is smart enough to do its own thing, right?
Yeah.
So
or when you have the other opposition when Mars is on the other side of the
The
sun.
other side, right?
And so you don't even have. It's hard to get direct radio contact like that.
Yeah,
Usually it doesn't perfectly line up, but the sun can get in the way of things.
it's hard to talk directly through the sun. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've ever tried, I mean, it's hard to see through it sometimes too. I don't know if you've ever tried to spot a galaxy or something in the daytime. It's pretty tough.
I
If
see
not-
a question from Christopher Winfield about the California wildfires. So right now, actually the skies are very transparent. But last week or a while back when the fires were really raging, it was really pretty bad. We had a lot of haze, but made for some magnificent sunsets. Did screw up some of my data. It was meant to trying to measure light pollution and doing a survey of the sky. I needed to be perfectly clear, and I had this one window, and I went all the way down to a few hours to Big Bend and camped out, and the smoke just ruined the whole trip. So it was pretty bad for a bit, but it's cleared off now.
Yeah, and now I think our friends out at I was kind of actually I might as well just show this thing because I had it up. I didn't know if we would get to it or not, but since we segued right into it, get a quick look at that. This is our friends at Mount Wilson. They have a fire knocking on their doorsteps, and we're hoping that they can get that put out pretty soon. I don't know if many of y'all have been to the Mount Wilson Observatory. I believe this dome right down here is the 60-inch, and this one is the 150-foot solar tower, I believe. I forget exactly what they call it, but it's literally a 150-foot tower that has a telescope up here that shoots an image of the sun down this shaft and into a special room that they have. And yeah, they've got fires out there. I think a couple of these images, although my page stopped responding, whatever that means.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so because like I'm trying to show something, so it's definitely gonna stop. But there it is.
We're just stuck with that then, huh?
Yeah, there's the fire. That is not Mars. That is the sun in the background there. But this is definitely Mars.
Yeah.
And no fires to worry about at the McDonald, which is good news. There was years ago.
Yeah, we actually are completing a big water system upgrade to prepare ourselves for fires. We take it really seriously, and we have our own fire department here.
Yeah, which is, I think, an absolute necessity when you live out there. I mean, just a couple years ago when we were coming out to the Texas Star Party.
Oh, yeah, I show pictures of that.
Yeah, we had kind of a scare because they were saying, bring masks, and it wasn't for COVID. It was for the smoke and the particulate that were in the air. And it was pretty dicey there for a little while, but we were worried about the Prude Ranch, getting damaged from fires, and the McDonald, obviously, but everything, pretty well stayed away.
Yeah, it got a little unnerving at times there. You can see.
Oh wow! Look at that.
It's not that far. This is from the 82-inch, and we could see the flames themselves.
Yeah. Which is not what you want to see ever.
No. And for anyone who's been here, there's this old pickup truck, which is just a landmark.
Yeah, it's just parked there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's looking west, right? Due west right there. Yeah, from the bottom of the 82. Wow, that's hilarious.
So yeah, that was the scare more recently, but there's a more famous image if you Google House Rock Fire. I'm sure you'll come up. My coworker Frank Sciancillo took. I think I will actually pull that up.
Yeah, you might as well, since we're talking about fire. I mean, nobody wants to talk about fire, but like you said, the best thing you can do is to be ready for it, be ready to prevent it in the case that it does come up. My friend Kelly Taylor in the house, good friend of mine from right here in my hometown. Guy has some of the biggest refractors, I think, in private ownership. These things, people have reported them to the FBI thinking that they're missiles. He's usually got missiles pointed at the moon. He's trying to blow up the moon. Kelly Taylor is.
Famous image here of the HET with a fire. This is back in 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not a big image, but yeah, things get close.
Yeah, fire is a natural process. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, it is absolutely necessary in certain places, and you know, even places like Yellowstone where you don't want to see fire, it happens naturally, and that's the way that it goes. And Bram coming in there with the answer for Kelly. Yeah, this is a 20-inch Richie Chrétien. That's the way I say it. Prove me wrong.
Nah, I like saying it a different way every time. It's fun.
Yeah, because you can kind of change it up, and that's the best part
Yeah.
about it. I'm that guy at that coffee table or at that table with the coffee though. Like it's Richie Chrétien. Change my mind.
Chrétien. Yeah. Yeah.
Chrétien.
I don't know if we'll get the moon at all. Yeah, just barely. I
there
got a
it
nice.
is.
I got a nice thing on my optics here.
I see it. Yeah, a
on the
little.
bar.
Mhm.
It's actually a flaw in this very cheap camera.
Oh, bummer.
Blame Travis.
Blame Travis. Yeah,
I
there he
screwed
is.
it up.
Starlink. Blame Travis. Kalish
Yeah,
says,
interesting. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
presentation. Talk to you next time. Thank you, Kalish. Thanks for coming by, man. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, the oppositions of Mars when we were just looking at Mars vary as well, right? So 2 years ago or so was a really close approach for the opposition. I think we got down to like magnitude negative 2.8.
Mhm.
This year we should get to negative 2.6. But if you go out like 5-7 years, it's going to be really slim pickings for good Mars viewing. So
Yeah.
I think in 2027, I'm looking here. It said apparent magnitude at opposition is going to be negative 1.2.
Mhm.
So just take advantage of this time. Look at this opposition and certainly observe it.
That's the theme of the evening, I think, with astronomy stuff. I mean, look, for instance, even here with the moon, enjoy it because in a few hours, this is going to look completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these craters will be
Probably
gone
look a lot better, honestly, because
because it'll be higher in the sky.
higher up. I mean,
Right.
this is like right along the horizon, and you can see the fringing here. This is called atmospheric dispersion, where you have the colors separated,
Yeah.
the different wavelengths separated by the atmosphere.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Snyder says they get wildfires, Will gets chemical plants exploding. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's either chemical plants exploding or hurricanes or who knows what's happening down here. It's always some nonsense. Kai says, signing off. Thanks. This was wonderful. Until next time, keep reaching for the sky.
Nice. Nice.
I like it. I'm never going to call you Kai Simone. Kai Renee Simone. No. It's Sky Renee Simone.
That's it.
So there you go. That should be your Twitter handle, Kai. Your astronomy Twitter handle that you'll inevitably start, posting science and space stuff because you're inspired, hopefully. Thanks for joining us, Kai. It's cool that
Kai's business is called Sky Academy.
oh, cool. Okay, so it makes sense. There
Deep
it is.
Sky gal.
Deep Sky Kai.
Sky.
That's awesome. And the coolest way for us to kind of close it out here for the evening is the moon. I mean, what an eerie kind of almost pre-Halloween view of the moon too. It's kind of dark, kind of bleak, dead, lifeless rock, but amazing.
With little rainbows from the.
Is that so, Stephen? Is that atmospheric dispersion?
Mhm.
Is that what those what are those devices called that people put on their telescopes?
Atmospheric dispersion correctors.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. ADR. Yeah.
ADCs. Yeah.
Or ADCs, whatever. It slipped my mind. But so those things have to be like level with the ground and stuff and all this weird stuff. Do you ever find that those actually work?
Oh yeah, they help. I have one that's not on the telescope right now. But actually, yes. The trouble with them is as it rises, you have to continually adjust it, and it's kind of a pain to do that. But if you're like really into planetary imaging, that's worth it.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Charlie Golden, has one, and that was the first time I had seen one. And I was like, man, it's amazing that people made a tool for an activity that I would just be like, I'm just gonna wait till Mars is higher.
Right.
Well, sometimes like you can't. Like if you want a particular thing with Jupiter, a particular transit or whatever.
Right.
True.
Or like later in December, we'll have Jupiter and Saturn right next to each other. They're going to be real low.
Yes.
And it's going to come in handy then.
Low in the western horizon. That's what December, like
Mhm.
you said. Yeah, that's going to be fun. You should be able to fit Jupiter and Saturn in one telescope field of view if you can catch it.
Yeah. I
With a
plan on
wide
it.
eyes. Yeah, me too. I mean,
I'm
a
gonna-
great place to do it would be the McDonald, honestly.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to aim this thing right through the front door.
There
It's
you
going to
go.
be so low. I can't look up through the dome. I'm just going to look it through the door. That's the plan.
That would be amazing, man. We definitely got to try to live stream that if we can, or something. You know, I don't know.
So.
Just to do
Yeah.
something to show that, because when else will you? I mean, because you almost never get that kind of juxtaposition of two
Oh yeah.
planets like
Right,
that. That's pretty
right.
rare.
That should be
especially-
really nice.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So we're not going to be able to see the flag on the moon, correct, Stephen?
Not with these conditions.
No,
So I laugh because that's a question
Yeah.
we get asked
We
all
get-
the time when we're doing
Yeah.
outreach. And
we need a little bit better
All the
seeing
time.
for that. Yeah,
Yes.
a little bit better seeing, and maybe a couple of 100,000 miles closer to the moon.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a few
Camilla, the histogram is changing. If you're looking, she's talking
Looking
about
at that,
this
yeah.
thing. So if I go to a brighter place, you'll see the average of the channels is going to go up as I go to a brighter part of the moon. It's going to go further to the right.
more data, right?
Yeah, it's brighter basically. So it's telling me how bright the image is, and for the moon, they all should be in line basically because the moon's black and white, the colors. But anyway,
Nice little rile there. That was just a line going straight across it. Oh, is that Ritter and Sabine right there? Those two craters? Sorry, I don't mean to make you keep going back and forth there, but look at that line. It's just like, boop.
yeah, that's interesting.
That's the lunar highway there that the
Huh.
aliens made.
Hmm.
Go to the right a little more, Steven, and then up a little bit. Yeah, like I think that's Ritter and Sabine right there, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
I'm so zoomed in. I have no.
But then
context.
again, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It could
Oh,
be.
it looks like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Tranquility, right?
Yeah, Sea of Tranquility is the other right.
Yeah. That looks like it. It certainly
Yeah.
does.
The lunar Texas should be to the right of it if it is. But Sharon Rigsby, the person, the woman who runs our planetarium over here for us at Astronomical Society of Southeast Texas, she kind of coined the phrase one night, eyeglasses. There's these craters on the moon that are just in the perfect, there's two of them, and they're the same size, they're the same depth, they're the same age as far as depth goes, right? Like those two right there, they just look like eyeglasses. And there's actually a bunch of those on the moon. And so I think what we should do is maybe, go around and find them all and then put them on a list and make other weirdos and nerds look at them.
Make an AL program out of it.
Yeah. Eyeglasses on the moon. I dropped my glasses on the moon.
I would I would put money that is Ritter there and Sabine.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I
that looks
think.
Opalus to me, but I don't know, that center structure kind of looks like Theophilus.
Look at that shadow. That's so cool.
I know that's one thing about the moon that always fascinates me is how fake it is and
Yes.
how much NASA had to pretend. to build
Man.
it.
So Stephen, you have this pointed at a sound studio in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the moon landing was faked. We know it was, and Buzz
Yes.
Aldrin and Neil Armstrong were such perfectionists that they demanded that the fakery be shot on location,
Yes, exactly.
which is why the moon, the landing was shot from the moon, because they were such sticklers for the realism.
Yeah.
Look at this kind of double here. I don't know. They
Yeah,
just
did you
sort of
see
seem to-
And I love craterlets. Like you see how there's just some craterlets in there that kind of make a little
Yeah.
shape. There are lunar asterisms, Bram, and so what I want
Woo!
what you
I hit the wrong button.
your job, Bram, is to go through and kind of log some of these lunar asterisms.
And I'm back here.
He's
Yeah,
like,
the
"Get
other
off,
incredible
Bram,
thing
I'm
is even these smaller craters look small, but in the scheme of things, they're actually quite large.
Yeah.
Several
Most-
miles across, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think the smallest crater we're seeing in here is at least a mile or more.
Yeah.
Even the little
Yeah.
tiny guys.
Yeah, if it were higher up, we could probably resolve things even smaller than that. But still, yeah, These are still big features.
That's right. Yeah. The moon is, I think, about as wide as like America is. What about 2,000 to 3,000 miles across?
About 3,000, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, we say these numbers and we're like, yeah, it's like driving from New York to California. Okay, but that's like an entire world, or at least one side of the world.
Yes.
And we lose that because to us, we're looking around at a wobbly, distorted view of this world that if we were there, it would look as crisp as, mountains do in the background. But
Right.
because of our atmosphere and the distance here, we're just, there's limits to what you can resolve. But I mean, it's just amazing really though, what you can see there.
Yeah.
And it's always important to like, I always try to remove that, the viewer bias that I get when I'm scanning the moon and I'm like, boring, but it's like, look what I'm looking at,
Yeah.
So
You gotta remind yourself. I love looking along the edge so you see the bumpiness of it.
Oh yeah, it's not a perfect sphere at all. No. And you got to wonder, like, how many civilizations, because obviously bending light is going to be universal. So if a species, let's say on Tatooine 4, discovers telescopes, right, they're going to be able to magnify their world around them, their universe around them, just like we are. But how many of them evolved without a moon,
Right.
where they just had a nighttime sky, or maybe they're in a section of their galaxy where there's not many stars, so they don't have very many stars. It kind of makes you wonder all the different scenarios that are out there.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, people, I think, take the moon for granted, right? People, like you said, they'll look at it and say boring, but it is one of the bigger moons in our solar system, and it has, quite a few beautiful features on it. I mean, it could be, Deimos, for all just a small object a few kilometers across.
I was gonna ask you, Stephen, because Phobos and Deimos were easily visible on the app. I wondered if
okay, I'll go back.
You wanna cap it off with that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I gotta go. As y'all notice here, Lyra Parrish, who happens to live in the same house as me, which is weird, made French toast.
I hope she made enough for all of us, right?
Well, see, that's the question that Bram asked. And
there you go.
I think what's going to have to end up happening is I'm going to have to mail you guys some French toast. I already owe Stephen a McDonald's sandwich, I think is what it was.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I remember that. Yeah, I totally forgot about it.
I think I might as well get you and Bram one too, Joe.
There you go.
Oh, she said she did. Come on, so come on over.
And it is the 7th, so I have to say this: happy birthday to my beautiful wife Julie. So
awesome.
She's asleep right now, but hopefully in the morning we'll be able to do breakfast or brunch somewhere.
There you go, and we'll timestamp it at 3:12:05. Happy birthday, Julie.
There you go.
Yeah, and Bram's gonna sing for us now.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Julie. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. I'll have to, make her watch this the whole thing just to get to that point. Yeah, absolutely.
Awkward. Thank you, Bram.
Thank you, Lyra.
All right.
Birthday wishes. Their birthday French toast. There you go.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Hashtag French toast.
Okay, so here we go, y'all. Now, according to the software, Phobos and Deimos should be off to the right somewhere.
There's a slightly brighter smudge.
Yeah, it kind of is, huh?
Yeah, it's
If we
stretched.
use inverted imagination, we can almost see it.
Inverted imagination.
Yeah, I guess I could. I don't know. It's hard because Mars is so bright.
Right.
El Dorado Star Party, which we'll talk about right before we cap off here. I want to mention that just as just a plea to get Bram and Joe to convince to come out and join us. But
I will be coming for sure.
Oh, to El Dorado?
I will, yes.
Excelente. It's been 10 years since I've said excelente, but I just did.
It's an occasion that calls for it.
It's an excelente occasion. I'm not seeing.
I'm taking a 15-second exposure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's something there. There's a smudge
there. It is. Yeah, look at that.
Okay, so
See,
Crazy.
When you're pointing at the smudge. I'm like, I see nothing originally, but yeah, there it is.
That's going to be Phobos.
Yeah.
Larger of the two.
Because Deimos, okay, so Phobos was off to the right, and it followed that Terra Cinemana or whatever it was that Simamama.
Simamama.
Terra Simamama, which is definitely a Mars feature. Don't question me. But it was sort of along that same line. It sort of stretched out to the right there, so that's got to be Phobos right there. Now Deimos is in your bottom right diffraction spike, I think.
Oh,
It's
I don't know
down
if we're gonna get it then.
Yeah, it's absolutely 100% down there. Believe it or not, it was just to the right of the polar cap.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, it's not that. It's less than a Mars diameter away, and about 4 o'clock from that ice cap down there. That's Deimos.
Yeah, I'm not picking it up in like a video format.
Yeah, right.
This is not a very sensitive camera, but
Yeah,
I believe it. I have seen it. I've seen one of the two in the 36-inch.
ooh,
So it can be done.
yeah.
Really?
That 36 is a beast, man. I got to observe on that, and thanks to Stephen, me and my friend Eddie Trevino got to observe on that, and what a treat that was.
Yeah, and getting back to our moon, right? You said our moon, in terms of diameter, is almost about the width of the United States, a little less than 3,000 miles.
Yeah,
Phobos, like 22 miles or something, or no, 13 miles, 13.8 miles. I'm looking at it here.
wow.
And Deimos is 7.8 miles.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so it's like less than half. Wow. It's
Yeah.
a third. It's a third the size of Phobos.
So,
Wow.
so yeah, the larger of the two moons is 13.8 miles versus almost 3,000.
Crazy.
Was it with 2,700, whatever it is for our own moon?
Yeah, and I think the moon is bigger than it's bigger than Enceladus, Ganymede, most of the Galilean moons, right? I think.
I thought
Well-
so. Yeah. Well.
Ganymede's
say, I
the
think-
biggest.
Ganymede's the biggest.
Okay.
I want to say our moon is the 5th biggest in the solar system, but I could be mistaken.
Yes, that's
That sounds
right.
right.
It's about the same size as Io. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
EO.
EO.
Oh,
EO.
He says, thank you for the tour of the moon. Loved it. Well, thank you, Jenny. We appreciate you hanging out with us on a late Sunday evening, enjoying all the way into Labor Day. Here it is already.
Yeah. Happy
time.
Labor Day, everyone.
Happy Labor Day. I don't really know what that means. I guess we're going to go to work or not go to work on Labor Day. We do the opposite of what, we're like, it's non-Labor Day. Shouldn't it be non-Labor Day?
Non-Labor Day, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm probably insulting somebody out there because I'm glossing over the real meaning of the holiday, but which is never a good idea on a live stream. Sun Green says, great show. Thank you. Make her watch at 3:12. That's right,
I will.
Lyra Parrish. And don't mess this up, Joe.
I will. I'll find a way to.
We got Bram to sing. What we should do is get Bram to dance, because I know that this guy next to me right here, he might look like he's this timid, quiet guy that interjects nuggets of wisdom from time to time. If you get this guy with some music, man, he can move like no other human being. I thought I was seeing things because of how, it was insane.
The forbidden dance, the lambada. Yeah.
And he takes awesome dancing classes. He knows how to do like Texas swing, all kinds of stuff. Bram, you do all kinds of dancing stuff, don't you? You love to move, right?
West Coast swing's my favorite.
Yeah. Which is different than East Coast swing, right?
Yes, polar opposite.
Where is the West Pole though? I don't know. We're getting silly here because it's pretty late, but we'll get to some last minute questions, guys, and then we'll finish it out. And because we had a great time, man. This was like one of my favorite ones that we've ever done. It's just a good time to hang out with you guys here. Ricky says, good night. Thank you, Ricky. We appreciate you hanging out with us and commenting, sharing the feed and all that. We appreciate you. Snyder says, go back to Green Mars. We got rid of Green Mars, man. We got rid of Green Mars. We had to say no more to Green Mars. Craig Hume says, bring lots of Yoo-hoo. You know, it's funny because my wife bought me some Yoo-hoo when we went to Yellowstone. And I tried it. I gave it a shot. Again, because my claim is that Yoo-hoo is nasty chocolate water.
It is.
As compared to like chocolate milk or something actually delicious. And so I was like, I'll give it another shot. It's been a decade or more since I've had a Yoo-hoo. Maybe I'm wrong. And the first sip, I immediately remembered why I hate this drink. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is. To me, it looks like the ocean here in Galveston. I call it water Yoo-hoo out there because there's sticks and like stuff floating in it, and like you get it in your nose and it burns you for a week and a half. You typically have a flesh-eating bacteria.
I was going to say slightly less feces, though, right?
There's a little bit less now. Yeah, Hurricane Laura blew most of that inland. Need some fertilizer, but no, it's just nasty water down here. It's nothing like Pensacola or something where you're like, oh, I can see my feet in the water. Here it's you're getting rubbed by jellyfish every 6 seconds, so it's not fun. But yeah, Yoo-hoo reminds me of the Gulf of Mexico here at Galveston. So there you go. We get to some last minute comments here as we close it out. Camilla says, I'm working this morning at 7.
That's not that long.
That's not. Yeah, you're gonna need to hit the sack there, Camilla, and get some shut eye. But you might be like me. There's no way I could go to sleep right now after getting my photon fix. It's just not possible. But there's a
got plenty of coffee.
Yeah, me too. I've still got some in my NASA glass, but hashtag Bram is Iron Man. There you go.
Going with it.
Thanks, Courtney, Lyra, whatever. El Dorado, thank you, Bob Snyder. Before we go, we're going to talk about El Dorado real quick because I want to see some of y'all out there. Again, Bram is my Iron Man. I don't know what in the world is going on here. Lloyd Overcash, our good friend from out in the McDonald area. Well, he's a dual citizenship. He's really a Houstonite and a Olympia Mountaineer. Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Olympia Mountaineer. He lives in both places simultaneously. He's got omnipotence. He's a great imager, by the way. If you're not
fantastic imager, yes.
Checking out Lloyd Overcash's work over here, you're not doing yourself any favors. And
Yes.
his solar work is primo. We keep missing each other every time I come out Stephen's way. But one of these days, I'm going to go ransack his observatory over there and steal all his secrets. And give all the secrets away. Patrick says, hope you guys are doing well. We are. We appreciate you watching, Patrick. Dusty Haskins in the house. Hey, good to see you, Dusty. Dusty won that 6-inch telescope that he's got in his picture right there from a live stream over from OPT, Dustin Gibson and his friends and stuff. And Scott Roberts, I think, was the one that gave him that scope. So it's an amazing win, man. I want a scope from technically I kind of want a scope for Scientific. That's a different story. Heather Smith said, this is the first time I've been on with y'all. I just found you guys tonight, a fantastic surprise treat. So thank you, and I hope y'all have a good night. Well, that's awesome right there. I think that comment is like worth all the work we did here, all the work that really Stephen did.
Yes.
The rest of it's just kind of set in our air-conditioned homes.
You guys did the hard part, in my opinion. You guys let me focus on what I need to get done, and you guys just make it
running
all work.
interference, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we just like all kinds of jokes. Owl life. There you go. Owl life in the city, I guess. What's the price tag of Stephen's telescope? Well, you need a small government grant.
Yeah. A lot.
4.2 million? Oh, no, probably not that much.
There would be 6 figures for sure.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about it is just how fast it can move.
Wow, look at that.
Isn't that cool?
You can almost track meteors with that thing.
Well, what I'm using to move it there.
Okay, that's ridiculously cool. Any gamer that's not like nerding out way too hard on this is dead inside.
Is that the new Xbox?
It's actually some off-brand. It's like a Logitech version.
So that could actually get pretty dangerous, huh, Steven? If you kind of
Oh yeah.
You get a little overzealous and swing that thing into its own arm or something, and
so you could use like the up, down, left, right BA cheat code to get even greater magnification.
Speed, yeah.
You get extra lives if you crash the telescope. That's what that really means. That's amazing, dude. And that, I mean, like, yeah, at least 6 figures at least. That's just for the telescope mount and all the fun stuff. And you got to power the dome. You got to build a dome. You got to have a mountain to put that telescope on, like Stephen has access to out there. And I don't think most of us can afford mountain property like that. I mean, that's just. Have you looked at Fort Davis property on Zillow? I mean, good grief! It's like a shanty in the middle of the desert with a dirt floor, and it's $250,000.
Yeah.
And it's like bathroom optional. Like, what? $250,000 home, and I don't even have a floor or a bathroom. Cool. Appreciate you putting that on there. So, but look, you can do similar stuff to what Steven's doing without spending 6 figures. You can spend like 5, and get close, but not quite, and then have to move it every time you set it up, which is, I can tell y'all, it's annoying. And this is why Joe is building an observatory, because he started moving his stuff too.
That is true.
The way it goes. And luckily Bram is so fast at assembling his scope that he never even has to worry about it. It just sort of is just assembled, and then he starts observing.
He's got that programmed into his iron suit, right? To assemble the telescope.
He has the nanite bots do it for him. They sort of pop out of his jetpack, and then there's a scope.
I want to know if his daughter stuck around to watch the planets.
Oh yeah, I wonder if she ever did. Hopefully she did, or hopefully she'll get to kind of go back. Again, this is always syndicated, y'all, or syndicated, whatever. It's always online. I leave these up forever on all the different platforms. So if you're on the panel here and you want to go annoyingly listen to yourself chat for 3 hours, you can do that. Or if you're just a viewer and you want to go back and like maybe we said something that you think is wrong and you want to fact check us, we'd love for you to do that. But it's always there for y'all's viewing pleasure.
If there's something we need redacted,
or if there's something we need, that's the problem though, because editing it on multiple platforms is pretty hard. So hopefully y'all didn't say anything y'all will regret later, because I'm not editing it and then re-uploading it. So okay, so before we go, we'll talk quickly about the El Dorado Star Party, and then we'll say our goodbyes. One thing I do want to mention about the El Dorado Star Party is it's the only star party that I know of that is continuing on this year with normal festivities. Now, the El Dorado Star Party is in near El Dorado, Texas. It's actually on or not far off I-10, about 3 hours west of San Antonio. The skies are really good there. Portal 2. There's really comfy accommodations. There's cabins. There's RV spots. There's tent camping. Whatever you find your fancy is, whether you like tent camping or cabin camping. I will say that they are doing no speakers this year, obviously because of COVID. There's mask orders, for all the public areas and bathrooms and things like this. Normal stuff. We're all used to this by now. This is nothing that is out of the norm for any of us at this point. So this is an option for those of y'all that want to go to a star party this year in really nice skies. That's not, all the way out Hummel's way, all the way out there in no man's land, but, still kind of in central Western Texas. And, here's the dates. It's October 12th through the 17th, which is coming up fast, believe it or not. Now, there is a deadline for registration. It's $45 if you pre-register online or in the mail before September 20th, which is not very far, not very long. So you still have a few days to register for this. And after that, I think it's $100 if you register after that or at the door. But I think, and I don't quote me on this, but I've heard that they're not taking any at the door registrations for El Dorado this year. I don't see that printed here, so don't quote me on that per se. But that's what I think I heard. But I encourage y'all to come to El Dorado Star Party as long as you haven't tested positive, because there's a whole Corona page. If you've tested positive, or if you're 65 or older, have pre-existing conditions, if you felt a tickle in your throat, probably shouldn't come. But if you're willing to social distance and all that fun stuff, this is a great star party. It's a great starter star party. You don't have to go very, as far maybe into the wilderness and try to survive all that time. And it's intimate. There's only a couple hundred people that ever really go, and I think this year they're limiting to 100 people. So again, if you want to go, and I'll be there, I think a couple of these guys above me might be there too. But you want to get your registration in, and I'm telling myself this too because I still haven't registered, which is dumb. I already have my camper spot for me ready, basically. But yeah, so oh, and look, we got an answer. Yeah, Heather Smith says yes, she did. She just as went to bed. We've been sitting outside stargazing and watching live. That is awesome. So
Nice.
look at that. Changing lives, Stephen. You're changing lives forever.
Awesome.
They'll never
So
be
I
able
knew
to unsee green Mars.
Why was it green?
Why is it green? Snyder says, thank you, Stephen, for using your 6-figure telescope to entertain the internet. I agree, man. It's awesome. But
Edutainment.
yeah, exactly. It is super limited, like Lyra said. It's a great Star Party, y'all. If y'all have any question about that, go watch some of my El Dorado Star Party videos, and it'll give you kind of a lay of the land, a lay of the ranch, and how it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of land. They have like 7,000 acres, this family, and they let us use it for the dark skies that they have out there, which is amazing. Zachary says, try not to waterboard yourself wearing a mask in the shower. See, that was one thing that I was kind of worried about, that, taking a mask with a shower. I said it, but yeah, taking a shower with a mask probably is not a brilliant idea. Thank you, Snyder, for hanging out with us. I have $1 if you throw a French toast stick at Will from off camera. Hey, I'll take that $1. Times are hard, and so I'm kind of waiting for her to pop in here and throw a French toast in my head. Although I kind of really hope it doesn't happen. That's pretty gross. So yeah, go to the El Dorado Star Party if it's something that interests you. We would love to see y'all out there. And I think Joe may be joining us, maybe Bram, or we'll see. If
I'm
not,
doing my registration now, actually. So.
Oh, I mean, I cannot let you register before me, so I got to get out. It cannot happen. This is not happening. I have RV spot 1, man. You can't do this.
I'll list you as my ESP buddy then.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. I can help you. So, and that's another thing. If you're going to go to El Dorado, you have to pick a buddy that can help you get off the ranch in case you come down with COVID symptoms and you're not able to move your gear for whatever reason. So it's, again, it's just little safeguards. Better safe than sorry. Safety is always a priority when you're going to these events or whatever you're doing. So just be safe, and it should be fine. That's what we're going to kind of do. But Lyra says, come join us, because she'll be there, but she'll talk to you from 12 feet away with a mask on, because she's pretty strict about the mask stuff, which is good because I don't want to get COVID from her. We appreciate y'all watching, man. This is our longest broadcast we've ever done. But I like I said earlier, I think it's one of my favorites. It's just a fun evening. Stephen, man, we appreciate you so much, dude. Tell us where people can steal your sprite images from these days.
I will come after you if you try that. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. Hummel Stephen is the name, Hummel_Stephen. Also encourage you to follow McDonald Observatory on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you also follow McDonald Observatory on YouTube. I plan on a live broadcast this Thursday. A little more detail about the objects and physics and how we know what we know about them. Yeah, thank you so much, Will, for hosting. Thank you for putting on these shows. It's just a lot of fun to do this.
Yeah,
thank
man.
everyone for joining.
Yeah, I mean, it would be totally boring, though, if it was just me sitting here because, I mean, 3.5 hours of just me chatting would be just unbearable, and there would be no one watching. So appreciate you doing this. Lyra says, come join us. And then how now everyone is going to put me as their buddy. Hey, I'll help
first.
you. I'll help you get off the ranch if you need to. Just stay over there if you're sick with COVID, and I'll pack that stuff up for you, I guess. Thank you, Bob, for hanging out with us. Always good to see Bob, fellow Star Party buddy. He's always out there. Thank you, Snyder. Thanks for coming back on Facebook. I know you took a hiatus, and it's good to see you again, though, Snyder. And again, blame Travis for Starlink. Absolutely. Mr. Bram Wiseman. Great shirt, by the way. Infinities. I love Dirk's work. iconic T-shirts, man. But where else, where online besides Derp Sky Dude can we find you, man? Where can people stalk you out? Okay, and so Joe, thanks for joining us. Say it again, Bram.
At the Houston Astronomical Society dark site.
Oh, there you go. You got to see Bram in person. So if they're out there, Bram, and they hear your lovely voice, or they catch your dance moves out of the corner of their eye, can they come share a view out of your scope?
Sure.
Just as long as they do it from over there, right?
Yeah, the tunes going a few weeks ago there, Bram, when we were observing out on Saturday night. Yeah.
It was a good time on the South Pad.
Nice. Bram's always got some good tunes going, so but again, gotta watch him. He'll break out in a dance like it's insane, y'all. I'm telling you, it's the craziest thing you ever seen, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you for coming, Bram. We appreciate it. And so next time we get you on here, we're definitely gonna do like an asterism war. Like you and I are gonna go just asterism crazy. And what we'll do is hopefully get these things out there so people start looking at them. So yeah, well, good to see you, Bram. I appreciate you coming, man. That's awesome.
Had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And last but not least, Mr. Joe. So
Hey.
Astro Joe.
The Astro Joe. Yes.
New moniker.
Facebook. Yeah, exactly. Got to get that going. So just wanted to shameless plug this Friday, Houston Astronomical Society's monthly meeting will be going on. We've got Dr. Justin Filiberto from the Lunar and Planetary Institute joining us to talk about volcanism on Venus. So if you're interested, go to astronomyhouston.org. All the details to register for the Zoom meeting are there, and we'd love to see you all join us.
Awesome, man. You guys are always doing awesome online stuff, and that's what's cool is I'm a member of Houston Astronomical Society and have been, I think, for a few years now. And, even though I don't get to make it over for like meetings and stuff per se, it's still, you guys are our sister club here in Beaumont because we're so close.
Yeah.
And y'all have way more members than we ever even thought about having in the history of our club. But that's the beautiful thing. It's the nice contrast between the two clubs. And you guys have been so helpful to us whenever we've needed it. And so I appreciate you guys doing what y'all do in Houston and all the outreach y'all do, which is just an insane amount of outreach. And you were the outreach coordinator, Joe, back in the day. So you know exactly firsthand.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And, I still can't say anything about it yet, but I think we're going to get some recognition that's out of this world pretty soon. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, I think I kind of know something about that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Say anything, but dude.
Yes,
that is awesome. And yes,
pretty neat. Yes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. So congratulations to Houston.
Thank you. And look, although you guys are a much smaller club, you guys do a wonderful job with outreach as well. I mean, I look at the stuff that you guys do compared to clubs that are 10 times your size, and they can't hold a stick to what you guys do. So great work. Well, and I know you shoulder the burden for a lot of that, as do a lot of your volunteers. So you guys do an awesome job.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, and I mean, we just do what we can. We have a really good core group of astronomers here, and we're nothing like the McDonald Observatory on our level of outreach out there or Houston. But we do make an impact, and if you're affecting one or two lives, whether it's a child or their parent, that's like, hold up, what?
Right.
Saturn, you've done ultimate good for somebody.
Yeah,
you've given them a higher perspective, right? And that's kind of what that's why we all came tonight, was for a little bit of a higher perspective on things. And so again, as we're saying goodbye here, Heather Smith says, wait, Lyra Parrish, the author? Oh my God, I love her books. And then yes, that's her. I happen to be married to that person. So there she is. And then, Lyra says vague booking, which is we're all pretty good at, I guess, but Houston Astronomical Society just vague booked us, and but we'll know the answer soon. I promise y'all that. But
hopefully the next time we do this, we'll be able to say something.
Oh, I'm gonna hold you to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys and gals, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us until Labor Day. I hope that y'all all have a safe and happy Labor Day. Barbecue. Have fun, spend time with your family, because that's what I think we all learned this year in 2020, despite all the nonsense that's gone on. I think that family and friends and, my colleagues with me here are what's important. Each other is what's important. And while we're physically distant, doing what we're doing here, we're closer than ever, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we say that like every time we broadcast, but I think it bears repeating because it's worth remembering. I think it's important that we remember it. So I appreciate all y'all watching and hanging out with us on another one of these. These are always fun. Again, Stephen, thank you, brother, for doing what you do with that ridiculously awesome looking telescope back there. Instrument of ultimate science. And Joe, president of the Astronomical Society of Houston, or Houston Astronomical Society. It's astronomyhouston.org, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
And all the links for them are in the description. Their Facebook page is in the description. You have to be a member of their club to be a member of their group. But hey, it's only 35 or 36 for your primary membership, and then you can
36 a year, and it's prorated. So if you join now, it's a heck of a lot cheaper than 36.
Yeah, exactly. You're like halfway, or way over halfway. It's only like $10 at this point.
Yep.
Awesome. And the same thing for our club, the Astronomical Society of Southeast Texas. We prorate you on your first year. And we're a club just to the east of the guys over in Houston. Way smaller, but yeah, we're a good club too. It's good times. And hopefully there's a club near y'all where y'all are at. But if you need help with that, or if you want to just, message one of the members on the panel here, we're all pretty easy to find. Get with us. We'd love to chat with you. And we'll probably see you on another one of these in the near future, hopefully, if we all get time to kind of assemble and get going on it. What I would like to do is at some point do since there's going to be no Okie Tex, maybe some of us that have been, like Bram and some of our other friends, and Joe for sure, he's never been to an Okie Tex, but I think he could weigh in on the Star Party fun and roll one of my videos of Okie Tex in the background while we all just kind of, talk about star parties and reminisce over fun times and things like that. I think that'd be kind of fun to do. So I'll probably be hitting some of you guys up for that later on. And so watch for that. And other than that, that's all I have, unless you guys have something you want to throw on in the last second here.
I'm good. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, we are
Stay
good.
safe.
We're good to go for another closure of this thing. So appreciate y'all watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for hanging out. And we're gonna go to the back office after this and hang out and congratulate each other with cigars and brandy. But y'all won't get to see that because that'll be behind the scenes. But we appreciate y'all watching. We love all y'all. Stay positive. Get out there. View some astronomical stuff because I promise you it'll
You're to be positive. You want to be negative.
COVID negative.
Oh yes.
Negative.
Be positive mentally, but COVID negative. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Lyra Parrish, for bringing out the Dave Chappelle. We appreciate that. Thank you, Camilla, for being a nice person and saying thanks. We appreciate you. We love you guys. We'll see y'all on the flip side. Take care of yourselves and someone else.
Good night, all.